And yes, are we ready? Right now on 710, we're taking off with 9 hours of live and local LA sports talk.
The home of the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
We call it the LAX, LA Sports Mega Block. Of course, powered every day by LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, where change arrives daily. Let's get to it. Time to get in the air. We're taking off, LA.
You have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah! Happy Monday to you, Slee.
Happy
Buenos
Monday.
dias.
Happy Monday.
I don't know what I say to you, Bergman. You
Good afternoon,
You
Greg.
don't have a signature. Good afternoon.
Shalom.
Exactly. Shalom to you.
Just say hi.
Good afternoon.
Good morning, Greg.
Good
Gregory.
morning, Travis and Sliwa.
Emily is on her way back home to see her family for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So Em's got a couple of well-deserved, actually only one day off. She's
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah,
She's actually live. That's her from.
she's got her
she's
comics
on
on
plane.
only to say that.
Yeah, she's going to do the show from Virginia. That's cool
Yeah.
on her.
Yeah, she's going to go back and see her mom and dad and a couple of her sisters for Thanksgiving. We're all getting ready. Today's the big shop for me today, Slee. Today's the grocery store trip.
Oh,
I may
yeah.
have made a fatal error already. I told you guys that I'm doing Thanksgiving at my house. My mom and dad, my brother's family, my Aunt Kristen and her family are coming over.
Yep.
So we're going to have about 20.
What's the fatal error this early in the game?
So it's late in the game. That's the problem. Supposed to take the turkey out of the freezer on Friday. Okay, so it'll thaw in the fridge. You're supposed to do it right safely in the fridge over a long period of time, and I didn't do it, so it didn't get put into the fridge until today, this morning. So we're about 2 days behind.
For somebody who's never cooked a turkey,
So I might just leave it outside for a few days to thaw it out.
can I get like what's the NBA equivalent of this? Trying to think here. Let's say I've never cooked a turkey. Is somebody like coming off the bus and you're just putting them straight in the game?
I don't know if there is an NBA equivalent. I don't know if I can get there for you. So you're going to have to work with me. This is trying to buy a really nice Christmas present at like 11:30 on Christmas Eve night. That's what this is.
Okay.
That's the equivalent of what it is. You might be able to pull it off, but we'll see.
You're going to end up at CVS.
So now I'm going to do that thing where I'm going to go
open.
touch the turkey every 8 seconds for the next 4 days. I think it's going to be fun. I looked it up. We're going to be okay. Probably. In the event it's not, there is an emergency ham on board, and the ham is going to be good. We just have to pick the ham up. So in the event that the turkey does not thaw and we have frozen turkey, there is an emergency ham.
What is everything else today?
Today is I got to go get all the stuff,
Okay.
right? I got to go get the groceries. I got to go get all the stupid stuff that all the butter and the stock and all of just the little things
Expensive
that
butter?
you go through. No, this is going to be the bottom shelf butter. This is not going to be butter from a foreign country.
Nice.
This is not going to be French butter or Irish butter.
I got an Irwan right next to us, so if you want, we can pick you up.
$75 for a little thing of butter.
No, this will be the
Venmo me.
this will be the Albertsons brand unsalted sweet cream butter, whatever that is.
Done.
By the way, Trav, I am just so impressed that you do all of the Thanksgiving
Not
cooking.
all of it. Let me be clear. I didn't make it
most of the Thanksgiving cooking.
I'm doing about half. My mom is doing half, and then she's coming down. She's going to help me starting Wednesday to kind of get all this stuff done. So I have a very good co-pilot on this. That she's making a lot of these things. So it's about a 50-50
Basically,
split.
AD and Braun in the kitchen.
Yeah, but she's
kind of this 1-2.
She's definitely LeBron in this analogy.
Travis and Kevin going right at it.
That's right. That's right. See, you remember my mother's name.
I do remember your mother's name.
I do
love
like that you said that. You had to emphasize she's LeBron.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
No. I'm not even AD. I might be like Rui. Like
Austin
I can get
Reeves?
it. I can get
No,
it done.
Rui's good. Yeah,
I
Rui's
can.
good. That's good comp.
I can get you something done. I'm gonna do a few things. You're like, hey, that's pretty good. And then you're like, that wasn't great. I'm Rui. That's fine. It's fine. How's your weekend,
I
Slee?
like those comps. Great weekend, man.
Yeah.
You know, I tried as best as I can on Friday to promote it. Okay, I was promoting that I was going down to San Diego. That there was you've heard me talk about it. So Granite Hills was in the CIF Open Division Championship. They've never been the Open Division. Now, granted, last year, Granite Hills won the Eagles. They won Division II state championship.
Nice.
So they went all the way and won the state. But Now they were facing Lincoln. They've never been in open division championship before, so I got a chance to go to the game on Saturday. Is it just me, or is every game that I bring up to you like down to the wire? It's coming down to Helix, Carlsbad, and Lincoln are the 3 teams that they had to face to win the open division.
Yep.
Helix, they won by 1 because they stopped the 2-point conversion.
Oh, that's right.
Carlsbad, they won by 1 because they got the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And then they had Lincoln on Saturday. They played at Snapdragon. You've been there before.
What time was kickoff?
For arguably one of the worst.
Not arguably. Well, I did go to the Rams game yesterday, so arguably one of the worst.
No, that CSU game was a lot worse.
I'm teasing.
That was a lot worse.
What time was your kickoff?
Kickoff was 7.
Perfect.
Nice. Perfect time. Perfect time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the game because I just want to promote it. And I told you before, Kellen Cobbs, who's the coach there, basically it's part of my tree of coaching.
The Sliwa coaching tree.
Yeah, the Sliwa coaching tree.
More like a stick.
Granted.
A branch.
Granted, I coached him in
A
basketball.
twig.
Granted, I coached him in basketball, not football. I'm still taking credit of whatever his football knowledge
coaching
is.
is coaching.
Coaching is coaching.
Yes.
You can apply it anywhere. Before you even have a chance to sit down and enjoy, you can't have a beer because they're not selling beer there. It's a high school event.
It's a high school game. That would be odd.
13-0 Lincoln.
Did you pack in your own?
No,
you got a little flask in your jacket? Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
Nothing?
I wasn't doing it. No,
What's the point?
I was.
What are you doing
completely clean. Completely clean. Before anything, 13-0 Lincoln.
Okay.
Lincoln scores, and then Lincoln gets a blocked punt, so they're up 13-0. And you're kind of like, all right, Lincoln's going to put Lincoln's one of the powerhouses in the state of California. Okay, you're like, yeah, Lincoln's going to probably pour it on them. They find a way to work their way back 13-13 at halftime. So it's like, okay, hey, we got a game. Second half starts. First 2 drives for Lincoln, 26-13 Lincoln. They go back up by 13. Granite kind of works their way back into it. Granite eventually, with 5 minutes left to go in the game, goes up 27-26. They score 2 touchdowns in the span of the quarter and a half. Remember Achilles Smith?
Of course.
It's his son that's the quarterback there.
At Granite?
At Lincoln.
Okay.
To take this story and just get right to the end, Granite needs a first down to end the game. It's 4th and 1 from about the 50-yard line.
Okay.
Granite uses their running back as the quarterback, just basically get it, go down the gut. They got to bring the sticks out. And when I tell you by like 3 inches, first down the other way.
Oh, they didn't get it.
They didn't get it. Lincoln gets the ball. So now Lincoln, all they got to do, here's the problem. Remember you and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. You're like, you can't kick in high school. You can't depend on any of these kickers in high school.
You can't count on the kickers in college.
Okay. The kicker already missed, I think, 2 extra points and maybe a field goal, something like that.
Okay.
So Lincoln drives. On a 4th and 8, the play is all over the place. Lincoln finds a way to get like 25 yards. They get the first down. Next play, and clock's running. We're under a minute here.
Right.
Next play, they're at the 5-yard line. They get all the way to the 5-yard line. It's 1st and goal from the 5. Trev, it's 27-26. Technically, all they have to do is kick a field goal.
Where are they on the field?
5-yard line.
Okay.
But they don't have confidence,
of course not.
I'm assuming, in the kicker. So they run it on first down. Clock's ticking 40, 35, whatever it is. They run it on second down. They get to the 1-yard line. So they're saying they have no timeouts left. So they're saying, we're so close, we're just going to punch it in.
Of course.
Third down, they hand it off again. Stopped at the 1-inch line, okay? Clock's running, 12, 11, 10, 9. The clock's running. They didn't spike it on any of this. Have the ball at the 1-yard line. Or the
third down now?
Now it's 4th down.
Okay.
Inch line. This is the final play of the game. The snapper hikes it low.
The center had a bad snap.
The center hikes it slow. Achilles Smith tries getting to it. Achilles Smith Jr.
Has knee on the ground. Game over.
No. Ball goes under him. 2 Granite guys are right there. Recover the ball. Go look up at the clock. 0. It's 27-26.
Are you
It's
kidding
the
me?
final. That's how Granite wins the game.
That's a hell of a game.
What the hell's going on? Every one of these high school games has been like
this.
this.
Do they have you come and MC the banner ceremony at Granite Hills High School?
Nobody had any idea who I was.
You should go in there and say, I'm Alan Sliwa of ESPN. I would like to MC the banner ceremony.
27-26.
That's awesome.
CIF.
That's awesome.
So they win the open division for San Diego.
That's great. First time ever?
First time ever.
That's great.
First time ever. Well, last year was the first time ever for Division II.
Yeah.
And now they're in the Open Division. I don't know what the hell's going on. They just keep
Football powerhouse.
Look, they beat Carlsbad, Helix, and these are the top 4 teams in San Diego County. Carlsbad, Helix, and Lincoln by a total of 3 points.
That's insane.
They won by 1 point in each one of those games.
That's insane.
These are wonderful stories. Is it just me, but I never went back and thought 1 second about my high school football team. Once I left Calabasas High School, I was done.
The Coyotes.
I never did either until.
How did you know that was the Coyotes?
I have random high school sports knowledge.
Football family, Greg. Come on.
Thank you, Jorge. Finally, somebody understands.
I'm not trying to downplay
I never
it.
did until they started actually being. When I was there,
all I
it
heard was he
awful.
wanted to throw a giant bucket of cold water.
No, 100%.
That's it. Like, hey, Sliwa was excited about that. Hey, watch this. Watch me ruin it for Sliwa.
No, I am not rooting for
Sliwa.
Sliwa.
You had my attention. I was enjoying that a great deal.
Game.
It sounded like it.
It sounded like a great game. I'm
Yeah.
just
Hey,
wondering
Sliwa, why do you care? That's all I heard.
This is Greg.
My goodness. Why am I on the show today? I think I should just leave.
Can I ask you an honest question?
Sure. I don't know why Sean McVay threw it on second down, if that's what you're going to ask me.
Okay, should I be this mad about something? There was somebody advertising during this game at the CIF Open Division Championship.
Okay.
I think it was like the National Guard had an ad. There's like Nike, I think, had an ad.
Like on the video board?
On the video board. Who do you think would infuriate me? I'm not.
The Chargers.
These pieces of had an
It was the Chargers.
ad
Yeah.
on the same stadium.
But didn't you say that you got a group of your buddies from San Diego that half of them are still Charger fans, right?
So if I said yes, I have 2 friends that are still Charger
fans.
But if I told you the city of San Diego, it ain't gonna be half.
Okay, but
it's going
there's
to be
just
90%, 95%.
They're shooting for that 10%. They want to sell a few tickets to that 10%. Look, they lost to the Packers. This is what they do.
I know.
They're in last place in a division that has
How
the
about
Raiders
Denver?
and the Broncos,
Denver's
which is
got
shocking.
A better record.
Denver's won 4 in a row. Denver's hot, Slee. They got Sean Payton. Now, the Chargers could have never gotten a guy like Sean Payton.
No. He was not. He was not available.
That was never going to happen. All right, we got a lot to get to. The Lakers had a win last night. Oh, you got breaking news.
Ooh, just a little bit of breaking news. It's actually really good for the Dodgers. Right-hander Lance Lynn and the St. Louis Cardinals are in agreement on a 1-year contract with a club option that guarantees him around $10 million.
Good for him.
He's gone. He is no longer going to give up home runs.
He's not
57
Oh, he'll be
home
giving
runs.
up home runs.
yeah,
He'll just
yeah.
be giving them up in St. Louis.
To the Dodgers.
Don't
and not
blame
for the Dodgers.
Don't blame him for the Dodgers loss.
I'm not
there was
blaming
a lot more.
him. No. This isn't a blame. I just don't want to see him in a Dodger uniform any longer.
I do not share your enthusiasm for this, just because.
Really?
I've said this to Al a couple of times. Lance Lynn's given off very strong Travis Rogers vibes.
Yeah.
Like both by his physique and by his performance. Like
Giving
I'm looking
up
at that
4
going,
home runs and
there's a guy
5
that gives
batters.
up a lot of loud hits and is kind of out there working kind of hard, but it's just not going to happen for him. Like I can relate to Lance Lynn a lot. So I'm not
could see it in
sorry to
that
see
sense.
him go, but
As Jorge kindly reminded me, Outman just makes that catch. Nothing.
yeah,
Nothing like this happens.
That's all it took.
That's not true.
Outman's freaking play. I'm sure Dodger fans still can't stand that.
Lakers get a win last night. LeBron was terrific. The Rams get a win yesterday afternoon that it's been about 24 hours. I'm still not quite sure how that happened or why it happened or whether it's even good news that it happened. And the Dodgers are apparently going to trade for Mike Trout. These are all things that we're going to get into. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the 5th row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
I don't
Great
know.
question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
All right, so we went down to go get some coffee from Illy, right?
You and me,
Yeah.
Greg and Slee.
Me and Berg went down. So I asked you, I said, hey, you want a cup of coffee?
And I said,
coffee.
no, thank you.
You said no. Okay, so we go down there. And Greg and
We
I
asked
are
Jorge
sitting.
too, by the way, just to be clear.
Greg,
I didn't, right? All right,
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
was he
This is
in
what
here?
today's going to be like, Trev. Is this how we're going to do today?
Like, we miss
I'm
Emily.
tired.
We're a little feisty.
Yeah, a little bit.
So we go down there and we got our coffee, and he's like, I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick. So he goes use the restroom. I'm sitting in one of the seats there.
Yeah.
Kind of in that lobby area. Beautiful hotel, right?
It's a nice spot.
It's great, but coffee unbelievable.
It's good.
You know, like the whole thing, the setup. You look around, you're like,
Right,
gosh,
right,
this
you know.
man, this
We
man's
get
amazing.
it.
No.
He's setting the story
It's
up.
part of the setup here. It's part of the setup here.
Just teasing.
So it's a nice spot, everything. Greg goes to the bathroom, he comes back, and the first thing he's like, you know what I don't understand about this place? And he finds something, he's complaining about something in
Sure.
the bathroom. And I'm like, all right, well, tell me what it is. And he's talking about how, like, and
Can I tell you?
Yeah, you can explain the story.
And Trav knows because I actually come in basically every morning and have some kind of anecdote when I sit down with Trav. It's
Sure.
always something that, like, am I a bad guy? But it's always
The
something.
answer is almost always yes.
It
but
is. It is usually yes, but no. So in the bathroom in the JW, they have
Know it well.
Yeah, I really
It's
like that
it's a
bathroom.
good safety valve.
Yeah. So everything is touchless. So it's
I know where you're. Go ahead.
it has the Dyson
Yes.
right on the side, so
Yes.
you never have to touch anything. It takes so much longer to use that than drying your hands with a paper towel. And I just kind of want a paper towel. You have to stand there for like 2 minutes drying your hands.
So a little overreaction on the 2 minutes.
Couldn't agree more. By
Thank
the way.
you. See,
Interesting.
Sliwa.
Interesting.
Couldn't agree more.
I found myself, okay, but is it just because it's those in general, or you want paper towels wherever you go?
I want paper towels wherever I go, first of all. But if there's going to be the blower situation,
You need to be able to rub your hands together.
For those who don't know, it's basically the sink, and then to the left and the right are the blowers, so they're all within the same.
It's not
And
one
so
of
you
those
have to
good
just
like
use
gas
your
station
hands,
blowers
like-
that'll like blow your
Sure,
the
that's
hair
like
off your face.
88 miles per hour.
It's like a light, and it's
right.
cold. It's not hot.
It's
not
not
hot.
warm, and it doesn't blow hard enough.
Right. So you're
it's-
just sitting there and like,
it's
okay, my
awful.
hands aren't drying.
I knew that's
need
where
to
you
go
were going.
outside
And you're exactly right. You have my full support.
You guys have a connection there.
Thank you.
You have my
He's
full
like,
support.
Slee was trying to be like, oh, what? We're in this beautiful place.
I was
and
like,
you're finding something.
you found something to complain about. This place is amazing.
The thing is, staying at that hotel, I don't know what it is, $500 a night, right? It's an expensive hotel. Throw me a couple of bounties. Just like I just spent $500. I just bought a $10 cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Can I have a bounty, please? Do I have to stand here?
You can't because we don't stay there and we're not giving them that money.
They don't know that.
And you know the other thing is, so it's all touchless, right? It's touchless water, it's touchless hand dryers. The soap you have to press down on. Does that sound just like a little bit odd? Why
but at least
if you want it all touchless, put
at least you're getting soap
first.
You're getting
clean.
You're getting it, but like you still have to use your hand when they want everything else touchless.
I don't know if this qualifies there because I haven't been over there in a minute. But the other thing you need a paper towel for is to get out of the restroom.
Right, that's a whole.
Like, unless it's just a push that you can use. Like, for instance, the one here, you got to pull.
You can just use your foot.
If there's that little foot pedal, we're but if there's no paper towels, that means I actually have to touch it with my hand, and that just defeats
now your
the whole
hands
purpose.
are dirty again.
Because there are animals in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, I watch so many people walk out of the bathroom after
Without
going to the
washing their
bathroom
hands.
without washing their hands.
Yeah, it's not good.
I won't say their name.
Yeah, it's not good.
Someone that works in here.
Oh, I know who it is.
Will you say it?
No, but I mean, it's not my story to tell. But
you
go
don't
ahead.
have to say their name because I think that's rude. But
I think Jorge would know if I said
but
it.
I think
for sure.
what
I've
their
seen them
name
too.
rhymes
You've seen them
with
too.
and what their Twitter account is would help.
Just ridiculous.
That's all
Like
we need.
actually, we both go to the bathroom. I go to the sink. He walks out.
That's not good.
It's odd.
Yeah, it's
I'm going to need
aggressive.
this information because I will never shake hands and
it's going to surprise you. I think. It's gonna
I don't
surprise
think it'll surprise you.
Yeah.
Maybe we're thinking of two different
Maybe,
people.
maybe there's two.
Maybe there's two.
Uh-oh.
Maybe, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Could be two
culprits.
You know what? Look, Greg, I will go to Costco and I will buy us a couple of rolls of paper towels that you and I can just,
keep on
very
a person.
strategically deploy when we go over to Illy. We'll fold a couple up in our back pocket and go from there.
You have to come with me tomorrow to get coffee because you're not here on Wednesday. And it's your birthday on Wednesday.
It is my birthday on Wednesday.
Look at that. See that, Slee?
Yeah.
I knew it.
It is.
I reminded him right now.
Get out of here.
Like, Jorge's
right.
feisty today. I like it. How was your weekend, Jorge?
It was great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you do something fun?
No, that's
Just
why
kinda
it
chill
was
out?
great because it was just chilling, drinking beer at home by myself. Not by myself, but with my brother there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Home drinking beer by yourself.
No,
We may
no,
have to have a conversation.
And then we took my mom out for dinner for her birthday.
Oh, nice.
And then
A lot of November birthdays in
Yeah.
this place.
Yeah.
Especially my family,
Slee's
too.
birthday, your birthday, my birthday,
Carlos' birthday. Too.
Carlo's
Carlo.
birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got the whole crew covered.
We got
here.
just about everybody covered.
That's right.
So this is just the way that the Lakers are going to play this season. Like
What's the plan?
Well, I don't know. Just have a guy that's nearly 40 years old in his 21st season be the best player and play 40 minutes a night. And by the way, he was awesome. It's not that he's not
He's been awesome all year.
He's been awesome all year. But the plan was LeBron and AD, let's take a little off their plate. Let's put a supporting cast together that can win games and just kind of let them live a marginally easier existence during the regular season so they can smash the gas by the time we get to the playoffs, and then you can really lean on LeBron and AD. Fact of the matter is, if LeBron and AD, and LeBron in particular, aren't literally A to A+ level good, they can't win. They played the Rockets last night, who are better than I think we thought they'd be coming into the season.
Yeah, definitely.
But the Rockets are not a threat to win the Western Conference.
No.
And the Lakers are in a down-to-the-last-minute slugfest with them.
Should've lost the
LeBron
game.
needs 37. He has to play over 40 minutes, and they win by a point. This was not the plan to burn the rubber off of his tires in November, December, and January just to kind of stay in it, because when they're not burning the rubber off his tires, they don't win.
So there's two ways to kind of, I think, go down and talk about yesterday's game. What you just said to start off, LeBron is
phenomenal,
unbelievable.
He's great,
and not even. They played a game on Friday against Portland in Portland. 13 of 22 from the field, 35, and he'll rebounds and assists, no problem. He's
You're gonna do that in his sleep.
That's gonna happen. Play 35 minutes, okay. And then last night against Houston, 40 minutes, like I said, 14 of 19 from the field. The efficiency, hitting tough shots, need clutch buckets, he's getting them. That part of it, it's tough to. I don't want to not appreciate what he's doing.
For sure.
But you have to put that to the side. because this year is not supposed to be, guys, let's just enjoy LeBron. No. This year is you walked into the season, top 5 in the NBA. That's the concept. Top 3 in the Western Conference. That's the concept. The concept was you get enough from Rui, D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Christian Wood, Cam Reddish. You got plenty of help. This doesn't have to all be on your shoulders. Anthony Davis is going to get his numbers, and he pretty consistently gets his numbers. And here we are sitting here on November 20th. They can't win unless he literally plays like that every night.
That's the scary part.
If he has a night,
he can't just be good. He needs to be great for them to win.
If he has a night where he's 6 of 15 from the field,
you're in trouble.
They're losing that game.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part of, we can get caught up in one game and say, wow, that was an exciting game yesterday. Came down to the wire. LeBron hits the free throw. Austin Reeves hits a big 3. Lakers beat the Rockets by 1. But put that to the side. You put that to the side because the question since game 1 of the regular season, remember they played him under 30 minutes to get blown out by Denver? Yep. It was, we're going to control his minutes. And since that game, there has been no indication that they have any control, and they don't have a choice. That's the problem. The problem is they don't have a choice but to play him.
They're doing this. They're playing him heavy minutes, and it's not just that they're playing heavy minutes and he's, kind of off and on. They're playing him heavy minutes, and he's been you tell me if is this the best version of LeBron we've seen since he's come to the Lakers? It might be. For a relatively short period of time. What have they played? 13 games now? For 13 games.
14.
14 games. This might be as good as we've seen him. And he's in his 21st season. And they're still kind of floating around 500. They're over 500, but this isn't like they're burning these minutes off of his odometer, and at the same time, they're 12-2. That's not what it is. They're playing him heavy, hard minutes. He's giving you heavy, hard minutes at an A-plus level, and you're squeaking out wins against marginal to less than marginal teams. It is a completely unsustainable model because LeBron, look, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think you can legitimately expect him to do what he has done through the first 14 games for the entire season. That just seems like a completely unsustainable ask.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look here. I'm just more out of curiosity, but he's averaging 34 minutes a game, more than 34 minutes per game. So I think we all understand and realize that it's not sustainable. I guess the question then becomes, what's the solution? Because and I think they're going to have games like this. I think they're going to have games where they say, and maybe it's Bron that doesn't allow it, but I think they're going to have games where it's Bron. Remember they had a game, this was against actually the Blazers, and LeBron didn't play in that game, and you and I were like, hey, I liked seeing that. Yeah. I liked seeing other guys have to figure it out on their own. Not, hey, the shot clock's running out, just give the ball to Bron and he'll save us. They're going to have to be more strategic with it. You're just going to – if the goal is to compete for an NBA championship, you can't tell me playing LeBron 35 minutes a game is your path to get there.
It doesn't work, so what is the path to get there, and do they have the guys on the team to build the path? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Rotolo Chevrolet has won Dealer of the Year. You ready for this? 13 years in a row. Think about that. Think about winning a title 13 years in a row. Think about winning MVP 13 years in a row. That doesn't happen. Happened at Rotolo 13 years in a row. Chevy Dealer of the Year. And here's how they do it. They do it by having an unbelievable selection. Every make, model, and color of Chevy Silverado that you can imagine, they've got it at Rotolo Chevrolet. The pricing, they're not going to get beat on pricing. But the customer service, second to none. From the second you walk onto the lot at Rotolo Chevrolet, they make you feel like you're the most important person in the world, because to them, it's exactly what you are. Transparent, courteous, upfront. You're going to love your experience at Rotolo Chevrolet. You're going to tell your friends, and they're going to tell theirs. The reason I know, I've done it myself. I've bought a car from Rotolo Chevrolet. I've seen it up close. From the very top at Mike Capozio, right on down the line. When you go to Rotolo, you're going to love the way that they treat you. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit in Fontana. Go in for yourself and see what all the fun's about. And if you can't get out there, go online. RotoloChevy.com. ROTOLO. RotoloChevy.com, and tell them that Travis sent you.
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app. And bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
It's Chris Morales.
And producer Lindsay.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the fifth row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
So you were not sweating it. I was sweating it out for you yesterday.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm talking about. Slee is the last person at the stage. Oh, no. Juan is in. Did Juan survive, Slee? So in the Eliminator pool, Slee is the last of the 710 employees to be alive.
He had Detroit, too.
He did. Mm-hmm. So you had the Lions yesterday, and Emily and I were watching at the pregame show yesterday, and we're like, oh, Slee's going to get knocked out because of the Bears. The Bears on the road. Jared Goff threw 3 interceptions. First time he'd thrown 3 interceptions in a game in 5 years. You're like, oh, my gosh, really, this is going to take him out. And then the Lions scored, I think it was 17 points in 6 minutes to win that game. Like they just flipped it on. It was totally wild. They end up winning the game. They get a safety out of the back. Hutchinson punts it into the upper deck. It was incredibly exciting. You didn't even get to bite your nails through this whole thing?
So I saw that they were down, and I'm like, well, that's interesting, right? Chicago, the Bears. I think you had said it was the biggest line on the board, I want to say, going into the –
that you had available.
That I had available. And I just kind of assumed, I'm like, all right, I think they're going to lose. And then I saw in one of the tickers there's a couple games going on in the morning. I saw one of the tickers that said that they were driving. Yeah. I'm like, do they got a shot here? And then eventually I just saw the final score, so I did not know the details of it.
Barely survived. Yeah. It was literally I don't like that you didn't have to suffer for 3 hours because you're just close enough to where you actually do have a chance to win.
So one person got knocked out. There's now 8 remaining.
So you're down to, you got a shot, right? When you start with 140 or 50 or whatever people we had, it's like, I'm not going to be the 1 out of 100. Well, 1 out of 8 is not a huge ask, right?
No, that's not.
You're still alive and still in it. You got a chance that you just kind of, I guess look, Lions won. You should have to get some pain, Slee. You gotta pay at the pay it
last
forward.
year, right?
Huh?
You won it last year.
I won a portion of it. Yeah, we all got knocked out on the last day.
Were you guys three? You guys?
I believe it was a quarter.
Okay,
it was a third or a quarter. I don't remember.
Have you looked? Who's left? How many people are left besides you and one?
8 people total.
8 people total. Everybody got through yesterday.
One person had the Commanders.
Oof. Well, yeah, going against the Giants, that's how that happens, right? You pick against the crummy teams.
Never against a division opponent. You do
It's a good rule.
not pick against division opponents.
It's a good rule.
The only thing is, I don't know at this stage, what teams they had left, right? Like, that could have been the best.
They were
that
heavy
had left.
favorites, too. And by the way, they outgained them. They had time of possession them. They did everything better than the Giants other than score points. I mean, not that seems to matter a little bit at the end of the day.
Lost the game.
Look, to your point, though, Berg, look at the Rams are not a particularly good football team this year.
Right.
They're 3-1 in their division.
Exactly.
Wow.
Never.
And by the way, they're going to win next week against Arizona more than likely than not,
Probably.
right? They're going to be 4-1 in their division. 4-1 on a team that's way under 500. Go figure. Division games are weird.
That's incredible.
Yeah, you survived.
I would never. That was always. I had 2 rules. The second one's a little bit harder to get, but it was never division opponents.
Okay.
And it was always home favorite, double-digit home favorite. Home, double-digit home favorite.
But you run out.
Stay away from that?
No, I do that.
Oh, of course.
I wanted it.
But you'd run out, right? Like,
yeah,
there comes
you run
a point
out. So then you have to
there aren't a ton of those.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes,
I got through almost 10 weeks, and it was mostly on that.
You're going to get to so we're going into week 12 now.
Yep.
You've probably of the 12 best teams in the league, you've probably taken 8 or 9 or 10 of them.
100%.
There's just not. You're
going to be some slim pickings.
You're going to have to take a Jacksonville or a Seattle or one of those middle of the pack teams and cross your fingers and hope.
Speaking of scores, what is our tally mark looking like?
Oh, don't worry about that.
I got demolished this
Not
week.
as badly as some other people.
I disagree.
No, trust me when I tell you. I did it yesterday. Hold on, I'm looking. Emily was perfect.
Oh my
Emily had a
gosh.
10-point week.
Nice.
So she is now in second place. She's got 64 points, excuse me.
Only point I know I got, I think, was the Raiders, and I think I had that as my 1.
So you did not, Slee. You had San Francisco in the Raiders, and you're 1 and you're 2. So you got 3 points.
Gosh,
leave it to me, Slee.
I get my 1 and my 2.
So you now have 56 points. You're back in last.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you.
Yes.
Well, no. Don't clap. Don't clap. Back in last means I wasn't in last week. I was in last week, so I kept my position.
Jorge is extending his lead. He's now got a 10-point lead on the field. He had 7.
Really? You're winning, Jorge, right now?
He had 7.
Like mythical money in your show.
Hold on. I did my math. Jorge, you're not going to like this. I did my math wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong.
You got 5, so I need to take you down 2 points. So you had 66.
Can you move me up a
I
little?
can't. And then I had a bad week. Let's just leave it at that. Not quite. Yeah. I had 1. And you know how I had 1?
SC.
Because Drew Lock sucks. That's how I got 1. I had the Rams at my 1. And if Drew Lock doesn't enter the game and give you a half hour of some of the worst football you've ever seen.
That was illegal yesterday because I'm sitting here, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, look, first off, if you're the Rams, you want to lose. Second off, I need those points. And the fact that it went the way it did.
Look, I needed it. I got 1, right? Drew Lock was terrible.
Yeah.
All right, let's just do it right now.
Yeah.
Why'd Sean McVay throw the ball on second down?
To give Seattle an opportunity.
Okay, that's the only thing that makes
the only thing I
sense.
can think of too.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Run the ball. You're going to kick a field goal, right?
You're going to take
a field
the
goal
lead.
is going to take.
Yep.
But
He wanted the touchdown.
Take the lead with 4 seconds left in the game. Take the lead with a lot.
No,
he
gave them a legitimate opportunity.
He gave
to win
them
the game.
35 seconds. He gave them a free timeout, and this was one of those things that just makes you go, look. Sean McVay is a good head coach. Sean McVay's been to the Super Bowl. He's good, but that is one of those, what in the world is, it wasn't hindsight. It was in the moment when you saw Stafford drop back, you're like, what in the world is he doing? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't an easy throw. It was a quick little slant over the middle. There's a ton of traffic going on. Two things. Number one, Lucas Haversick made the short little field goal. That dude had never made a kick under pressure in the NFL in his life. It was the first. So, again, it was like a 25-yarder. It was a little chippy, so he's going to make it. Jason Myers for the Seahawks had already made 2 50-plus yard kicks in the game yesterday. Yeah. He missed the 55-yarder. He just missed it, right?
Seattle screwed up too. I hated their play calling on that.
They did not execute well down the stretch, but they did put themselves in a position to make a 55-yard field goal with a kicker who can make that kick. That they escaped by the skin of their teeth.
They shouldn't have won that game.
They should not
made
have
no
won
sense
that
how
game.
they won that game.
None. Cooper Kupp got hurt again. Didn't play in the second half. Did not look good in the first half. Matthew Stafford had 3 drives that were pretty good in the game, but other than that, looked less than his best. And somehow, some way, they scored 17 points and won a game. What the heck happened yesterday? Because here's the thing. To get into the playoffs, here's what has to happen. You have to beat. You can't lose any of these games. New Orleans, Washington, the Giants, Arizona. Rams going to win all 4 of those?
No.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And you have to find a win in San Francisco, Cleveland, or Baltimore. You have to beat one of those 3 teams to get to 9 and win all of the other 4. It's not happening. So what happened yesterday, it was exciting. It was fun that they won a game, but it did not help what their ultimate goal is going to be. They're going to pick in the middle of the pack now because they are going to beat Arizona. They are probably going to beat the Commanders or New York or both.
Sure.
But they're not going to be able to punch the ticket on the rest of those things. And now you're in that 7-win area, which doesn't do you any good at all.
I don't think the ultimate goal was to do what you're saying, because if it was to do what you're saying, you and I, we were talking about this, that there's still a lot of guys. You got to show respect to the game. Why are they putting Matt Stafford back if that was part of the goal as well? They shouldn't have won that game. They shouldn't have. But the way they celebrated at the end of the game, and I'm talking about McVay and I'm talking about Stafford, I think we're just trying to win games. And whatever the hell happens, happens.
I get that. I get that.
And I don't completely disagree with that part of it.
No, neither do I.
I think there's a respect to the game, and I get all that. They should have never won that game yesterday, and indirectly the plan would have been working of just, hey, don't win too many games.
Just play the games and let them fall where they're supposed to.
They got lucky because Geno Smith comes out of the game.
That was everything.
That was everything right there.
Can I ask a quick question on that? How was that not a penalty on Aaron Donald?
Driving him into
the one that knocked him out of the game for a few
hitting
series.
His helmet with both hands.
He hit him in the head. I'm glad that it went the Rams' way. I'm glad that it worked out for him. But that's one of the. I mean, we haven't seen a quarterback get hit like that without a flag in a really long time.
Good question.
That was one of those.
That doesn't make any sense.
Oh no, not gonna. Oh, okay.
No, that's the one where you're just waiting. Like, all right, yellow's coming. Just
for sure.
Who's throwing it? Who's throwing that flag?
The Rams won the game, and you could tell the kind of the elation. It's the first game they've won in November in 3 years.
Oh my gosh!
How about that? It's the first game they've won in November in 3 years.
I will say this: the way you kind of set up the rest of the schedule, I don't think they need to do any of that.
But the problem is they're going to beat at least 2 of those 4. Arizona, Washington, the Giants, and the Commanders. Okay, 2 of those games are at SoFi, 2 are on the road.
Yeah.
They're going to win a couple of those.
So this is what I meant by the way you set up the rest of the schedule. This is a crazy, crazy thing, but for those Rams fans that are out there that are saying, look, I just want a chance to try to make the playoffs, they just have to beat Arizona next week, which, by the way, isn't a guarantee or a
No,
lock,
it's not.
But they just have to beat Arizona. And if I just pretended they got to 5-6 by beating Arizona, go look at those standings in the NFC right now. I think it's an interesting world. And I'm not telling you it's going to happen.
But you can see it.
That it's not like it's not.
You know what happened last night? So I get home from the postgame show, and I get in the house, check in with Susan. We're having a little dinner, turn on the Sunday night game. And you know, this time of year is always here are your division leaders, here are your wild card teams, and what's that last category?
In the hunt.
In the hunt.
Yep.
They're back.
I know.
And it's like, you know, because in the hunt is cool if you're 7-5 and you're just trying to get to that's a cool, but 4-6 in the hunt is fool's gold.
Yeah.
It's like let's be really aware of
It's Lincoln Riley saying we're 3 plays away, guys.
Okay, now you're just trolling me.
3 plays
now
away.
Now you're trying to put me in a bad mood. Ask Slee is coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, if you get hurt in an accident, call Sweet James, 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. because if you get hurt in an accident, that call, it can change your life. If you get it right, and by calling Sweet James, you're going to get it right, you get decades of experience. You get multiple attorneys looking at every single case. You get somebody that knows the insurance companies inside and out. You get somebody in Sweet James that the insurance companies know they don't play ball. We need to make sure that they get what they're entitled to, or they're going to go to court and they're going to beat us, because that's what Sweet James does 98% of the time. Over 500 trials under their belt. Not too many firms can say that. The most experienced, the biggest settlements, call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. The call I've made, the call my friends have made, the call I've recommended my family members to make. If you are hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, a dog bite, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James at 1-800-9-MILLION and sweetjames.com.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the fifth row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
We're going to start on Twitter, as we like to do. Does anybody in this room call it X yet? Because
Never.
Every time I hear that, I'm like, stop doing that.
I refuse.
Me too. Good.
Never.
No, I don't think I've done it either. I'm starting to hear more and more people now just calling it X.
Me too,
Yeah.
and I don't like it. And when you read it in print, it's like, oh, on the so-and-so posted on X, formerly known as Twitter.
See, I see Twitter/X a lot.
No, it's Twitter.
I mean, if you're doing it, if you're for a publication, you kind of have to. Or if you're on a broadcast, you have to.
I'm going
we
X.
Don't have to.
I'm going X.
Do you
the rest
have
of the way.
to?
I think that's the name of. It's what it is. It's no longer Twitter.
If you type in twitter.com, it comes up.
It is still twitter.com.
Yeah.
Just not x.com would get complicated.
Stupid anyway.
Yeah, that would get weird. Not Kevin's Anthem, new name in the Trav and Slee community. Always love seeing this. Slee, would you rather deal with the rudeness from the DMV or the post office?
Post office. It's I think it's a quicker transaction, and I could just get what I need to get done. I don't need them as much. DMV, I don't have a choice. Like DMV, if my license needs to get, whatever it is, right? Like
you need it.
I need it. Post office, this one ain't working. I go to another location. Give me the post office headache more than the DMV.
I'm the post office. You can work around. I can go to FedEx.
Yeah.
I can go to UPS.
You got options.
I can maneuver through most, unless I need a passport.
I could point at you like this and then still walk out.
The DMV, if I need a driver's license or to register my car, there's nowhere else to go.
Can't do anything.
They don't seem super enthusiastic to move you through. Occasionally, you will get a post office employee that's like, "Yeah, what can we do for you today? Let me get that for you."
I gotta be honest. Do you blame them? I don't blame them. I mean, I'd be pretty.
They get yelled at constantly.
Yeah, it's like.
But I had a good DMV guy.
Now
2-3 weeks ago.
G135 on window number 5.
How do you do that so well? It's like literally.
I've been there, man.
You got to do it once in English and then once in Spanish, right?
Ahora sirviendo. G132 en ventana número 3.
See, now I feel like I'm in the DMV. We got a little bit of both.
Solid.
Absolutely. Greg, you got one?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was good.
What was your DMV story? You said you.
I think I told it on this show, actually, not too long ago. Like, I went to the DMV. I was in and out in 25 minutes.
Yeah. You said your area.
My area. I went to my special space that nobody needs to know because I want it to always be that way.
Yeah, if you tell anybody that, you're doing it wrong.
They have paper towels there.
They probably do. It's a DMV.
Well, they better not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get trapped in there. I'm never touching that door handle. I'd still be in there.
All right, this is from Jacob. Are you over loyal to any clothing brands?
No, I'm not. There's certain clothing brands I like more than others, but a loyalty to it, no. And I'll give you a good example. You go to like a Ross, go to a Marshall's, go to one of these places. If it's my size and I like it, I don't care what the hell the brand is. I'm not making my way to a specific. But now there's places, I think I've told you this. REI, like I like going to REI. REI's got great clothing, but they're not all the same brand. There's a bunch of different brands that are there. I don't have a loyalty. Do you guys have a loyalty?
I do. I have one, and it's more on cut, and it's more on the quality. The stuff that fits me well and lasts forever is Nike stuff. It's
always good.
It's always good. It's not like sometimes you get some T-shirts and after a wash or two, like this T-shirt doesn't feel the way it is.
Yeah.
And at least the ones that I'm buying, they're a little boxier the way that they're cut, so that helps me out. I'm very loyal to Nike.
So normally, I don't anymore, but when I was younger, I absolutely did. I was stuck on Quicksilver and Hurley stuff for most of my life. I just always wore the same kind of stuff.
Polo at Macy's. Macy's always had like
T-shirts.
Polo. Didn't they have like the little polo guy playing polo?
Yeah, they had a lot of
horse?
the collared shirts or the polos. Yep.
Yeah, but no, not anymore. But the Hurley stuff, that was some good stuff for a while.
What do you got, Greg?
What about Jorge? Do you have
No, it's cool. It's a soccer thing. It's Adidas. It's always been a thing since high school, junior high to like now. Like all of my
Adidas.
Is Umbro still a thing?
Oh, Umbro was dope.
They have the slides, right? That was the
Adidas.
yeah. I just remember always seeing that. I never saw Umbro shorts or slides on anybody that wasn't a soccer guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be.
Yeah. No one is just wearing that to wear it. You're on a
acceptable.
soccer team if you have those things.
It's unacceptable to wear that if you're not playing soccer or if you're not a soccer guy. All right, this is from Raider Ruben Slee. If you and Lady Slee went to a Friendsgiving and after the dinner they surprised you with it also being a swingers party, what do you do?
Interesting. Thanks for the time, guys. You guys have any Tupperware? I want to take some of this food home.
If he just brings you a bowl and says, put a key in.
That's how they do it.
I did not know that.
You've never heard that before?
New information for me. No, I'd not heard of that.
Yeah, so okay, let me help you out here, Slee.
As you can tell, I've not been to one of
Travis
these.
like fully on board with all this.
You do. If someone asks you about a key party, your answer is thank you, but no thank you.
Okay.
And
your answer, not my answer.
If you, I'm answering for Al here because I think I know him pretty well.
Yeah.
You're going to want to be very wary of any pineapple-themed clothing that you wear.
Okay.
Especially if said pineapple is upside down. That is.
I think I've heard that piece of it.
Yeah. Just consider it because there may or may not have been a situation that Susan and I found ourselves in.
Interesting.
This was a while ago where that topic kept getting brought up by the same couple that we knew.
Oh, they were pushing it on you.
Big time. Without coming out and asking. Like, so the first time.
They had to do the indirect
Wouldn't it be funny
dance?
if we just like
had
a key party?
It wasn't even like that. It was more like, we have these neighbors. Like, they keep inviting us to a key party. What do you guys, what do you think? And we're like, I don't know. So anyway, we get in the car. We're driving home later, and I'm like, that was weird. We end up going to have dinner with them a couple weeks later. Brought it up again, and we're like, oh. Now I understand.
They're trying to pull you
They're
in.
trying to. This is one of these taking the temperatures without coming out.
Or they're trying to say, like, do you think it's all right? Because I really want to do it, but would you think of me less if I did?
It was we're into this. We don't want you to know we're into this, but we want you to know we're into this. And
Because
are you
if
into
you're
this
into
without
it,
being
then we're gonna
exactly?
tell you that we're into it.
We were
and
just
it's gonna
trying
be,
to
oh my
grab
God,
some.
it's all going to work.
We were just trying to get some turkey, mashed potatoes, and gravy.
Yeah, I mean that's.
We didn't know that's where it was going.
Whatever is your thing. Cool, but it's.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah.
I got a lot going on in my life.
I appreciate you guys
I don't need
educating
a lot
me
of-
on the key thing.
I think you needed it.
If that brought,
It's not a DUI thing. It's not a designated driver.
If that was brought to my attention a week from now and you guys didn't mention this, I'd have no idea.
Just be like, oh,
Yeah,
they're being
sure.
responsible.
Here you
They just
go.
want us to
What
put
are
our
we
keys
playing?
in here.
What kind of key do I bring?
And then someone just grabs your key randomly, and you're like, hey, where'd
Yeah,
my key go?
I got. This is a Sliwa mobile. Okay, let's go. Where are we going? Are we going to get in and out? Where are we headed?
You guys are such great friends.
Just want to drive me
You're
around.
so nice.
Hard pass.
man.
One more here from John in Huntington Beach. Al, have you gotten any Christmas shopping done yet?
Absolutely not. Right now, it might as well be like May. That's how far I am thinking I'm going to get the Christmas shopping done. I always do this. Do you guys do this? And maybe you guys are more responsible than I am. I always say, you know what? This year, I really want to just get the stuff done early. I just want to get it out of the way. I want to be responsible. I want to give it the proper time, thought in this. And then it's December 15th. I'm still saying the same thing. It's December 20th. That's still happening. And then, crunch time, you make it happen.
You want to get it overnight? Dude, yeah, I know.
You got to make it happen. Jorge, we bond in that department.
Do you guys get ahead on that at all?
I have stuff in the cart already.
You do?
Yeah, yesterday I have stuff in carts and
There you
separate
go.
websites. It's just pulling the trigger and be like, okay, let's expect it here next week.
I'm going
Better
to
than me.
go on to Amazon at some point and do it all at one time, and I'm done.
I keep a list during the year when I think of something like, oh, that'd be nice, and then I forget to go back and look at the list. It's like, oh, I'll find it January 15th. Oh, that's where that is.
You put it in your cart, and you have like 17 things in your cart, and you never go back.
One of my girls, one of her best friends, has this, like, even doesn't matter what time of the year it is. Hey, I think that person's going to like that. I'm buying it. They'll buy it for them, and then birthday might come around or Christmas might come around, and they'll just have all these items, and it's like, okay, perfect. Now I can start giving these. They're doing that throughout the year. That's next level. I'm with you.
I got nothing on that.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I give myself credit for just kind of thinking of it in the moment and then just letting it go. I'm like, hey, that was a good thought. I'm never going to execute the thought, but at least I had the thought. USC got smoked by UCLA, and Lincoln Riley said something that I really never thought I'd heard come out of his mouth. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. So Emily's probably not quite. She should probably be getting to the airport about right now.
Okay.
You know, she's flying in a couple of hours, and she was trying to get a very complicated way to the airport, and I was like, be careful here. Just get there. Don't. There doesn't need to be multiple steps there, especially this week. Everybody's traveling.
Oh, yeah, no,
just get there. Get there early. Be set up. Don't cut it close. This is much like the sombrero element or argument that Susan and I have. This is the when do we need to arrive at the airport argument. That it was. So we went to Phoenix this weekend, right? And we traveled together on our way out there, but we came home separately because I came home on Saturday night to do the Rams yesterday, and she came home yesterday afternoon after the baseball tournament was over. And she dropped me off at the airport on Saturday night. She's like, well, when do you want to leave? I said, I don't know, about 6 or so. It's like, your flight's not till 8:30. The airport's 20 minutes from here. Yeah, right. But what are you going to do? I'm going to go through security. I'm going to get to where I need to go, probably have a drink, maybe read my book. Yeah, but you'll be sitting there for like an hour. Right. Like, you don't understand. You cause me so much anxiety by every time we're at the security line. It's 9,000 people long, and the plane leaves in a half an hour. I'm losing my mind every time. She's happy to be the last person to walk on the plane, and all right, close the door, we're ready to go. It's going to drive me around the bend.
I hate that so much.
That's such wild opposite personalities.
Gosh.
Because there is certain things that make me stressful, and certain like take the same thing that makes you most stressful, it stresses her out the least.
It's fine.
That's not a good combo. Like for that predicament, that's not a good combination.
Why can't we just sit there for a half an hour or even an hour? It's fine. I know that you don't. It's not ideal. I don't want to, but here's what's not going to happen. I'm not going to miss the plane. It's not going to happen.
Have you guys ever, with that predicament situation, has she ever put you guys in a position where you actually miss the flight?
No, but it's been really close.
That's why she's riding this. She's like, hey, I got a perfect record.
That's her argument. You've
I
never
got a
missed.
perfect record.
Okay,
she's
but
fine.
Wouldn't you rather not have me losing my mind? Because I am fully aware I am an unpleasant person to be around in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I am not making it easier on anybody. I'm making it much, much, much
Is she
worse.
whistling like at the airport? Like,
we got
plenty of time.
It's fine. Relax. Which makes you relax
even more angry.
Much less.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is like one of those where, you'll use like a sports analogy, and you're like, Al, that player has done the same thing over and over again. Now they're going to change, and you're like, why are you that stressed about, or why are you so worried about a player or a coach that's never going to change? I feel like I can use this argument on you and Susan right now. She's never going to change. You just got to accept it.
You're not wrong. You're. I don't like you using my own arguments against me.
It doesn't make you less anxious, but
it just once in a while, it's like, hey, listen, I know how this is going to go. I would really like to leave the house at 3:00, and I'm really asking, can you please be ready to go at 3:00?
Yep.
3:00 rolls around. I'm ready to go. I got the keys in my hand, standing by the front door. Oh, I just got to do this and that. I'm like,
hour later.
Can you just not do it for me? Just this. I know it's 10 extra minutes that will make me feel better. Can we not? Never.
Man, no, same
Never.
thing at my house. I tell her the day before, hey, we gotta be there at 5:00. I need you to start getting ready by 1, 2:00, 2:30, the latest. We can be out the door.
Yep.
It's gonna take us an hour to get there. We don't know if there's gonna be accidents, closures, whatever. You just never know. And we have enough time to get to wherever we have to get to. And it's 2:00. Oh, I got to shower. I'm like, dude, we're supposed to be out.
That is one of the worst feelings. Is feeling late to an airport because now you're trying to, what the hell happens next? What if there's this that happens? Getting in and out of some of these airports is the worst thing. By the way, we were way off on the 10 freeway.
It's open.
I drove by it this morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna let some people drive on it first. I don't know. That seemed quick.
Wait. The fact that they, we talked about it, the under-promise, over-deliver, they definitely set different expectations for us.
They did.
Now they look like heroes.
I'm going to go the round for a few weeks. I'm just going to let that thing
I
settle
noticed
in.
today I'm driving in, and I noticed it kind of, slanted a little bit. I was like, I don't know if I just noticed this now because I know it burnt, or was it always like that, kind of like at an angle?
On the freeway signs, the things like 20 minutes to the airport, or the little traffic things.
Thank you, LA.
They were congratulating themselves. Did you guys see that this morning?
I did.
Did you see that?
I did.
Like, hey, it was open in days, not weeks. Easy, government.
Thank you, LA, for your patience.
Yeah, thank you, LA. It's like,
Stop.
take it easy, government. Like, you can't take a victory lap because one thing came in a little ahead of schedule.
Or
That-
maybe
that
that's
always
the
happens.
only time they could take a victory lap.
Oh, my
Take it
gosh.
easy, government is a thing that happens all the time.
Is because it.
But they
never
usually don't
happens.
take, like, the city government is not
Hey,
like,
they
hey,
take the
check
wins
us
when they
out
can
how
get
good
'em.
we were at this. Bothered me a lot. It's
pretty funny.
SC is 7-5.
go, Bruins.
SC in their last 14
You
games
should.
are 7-7. No, they lost to Arizona State the week before. Don't give him any of that. Arizona State's dreadful.
They demolished SC.
They did. We'll get to
It was a beat
eye on the
down.
ball. Don't get distracted by
No.
him over there.
No. I'm going to distract you. I'm going to
They're
talk up my
7-7
Bruins.
in their last 14.
Okay.
Their defense has actually gotten worse since they fired Alex Grinch.
Bring Grinch back.
When they fired him, they were the 87th ranked defense in the country. They are currently the 113th ranked defense. They've backed up 26 spots since they made that jump.
gosh.
So they're actually going in the wrong direction. Look, I get it. It's a bad season. It's a bust. But what I did not hear, or what I did not expect, was to hear Lincoln Riley say something like this.
We knew this was going to be a climb. We knew that's what we signed up for, like I've told you guys, and we got to keep climbing. Everybody wants the clean, smooth road to the top, and that's for the movies, man. Like, the road to the top is jagged, and it's going to take its different twists and turns, especially coming from where this was. But we got to stay together as a program. We got to stay together as a fan base. We got to stay together as a university. Like, this is the tough times that you push through for the great things on the other side of it. And most people, if you're willing to push through it, you get to those opportunities, and ours are coming.
He went on to say, everyone wants the clean, smooth road to the top. That's for the movies, man. The road to the top is jagged. It's going to take different twists and turns, especially coming from where this was. Did he just go to the, hey, I'm not as bad as Clay Helton? Because that's what that sounds like to me.
And actually, if you go look at their records at UCLA or USC, he's worse than Clay Helton in his first 2 years. Everything that the records,
when
the
Clay
bowl
came in,
games,
they were winning.
The
They were
whole
winning.
thing.
10-3 and 11-3.
It's going to take different twists and turns, especially coming from where this was. He did not just go to the, hey, you guys handed me a giant mess. You should be happy that I've gotten it this far in 2 years. I'm blown away. You had the best player in the country on your team for 2 years. You won a Heisman Trophy. This was not a problem out of nowhere. This was not where everything was lined up perfectly for you and guys just started to drop and injuries started to happen. This was before the season started, hey, your defense sucks. You going to fix it? Nah. Your defense was the problem, and it got worse and worse and worse. And now that it's 7-5, that you're going to go to some cut-rate bowl game, you're
Las
going
Vegas
with the,
Bowl.
well, you guys remember how bad it was before I got here. Really?
You know what? One of his biggest issues, you guys remember when he first got hired and they're at SC at the Coliseum, and behind him is the backdrop, and he keeps saying, look, things are going to change here. And there is the thought of it could change quick because of the transfer portal, because you're bringing Caleb Williams. I didn't have a problem with SC last year. I really didn't. I know that they end up losing the bowl game. Forget the bowl game. Caleb Williams, they make it to the Pac-12 championship. Caleb Williams gets injured. I didn't have a problem last year with USC.
I'm with you.
What the hell is this year? Like, they're just up and down. Even when they started out the season, what they start out 6-0, I want to say. 6-0 is how they started the season, and no one believed the 6-0. Everyone's like, all right, well, and Arizona's turned out to be a much better school than we thought they were going to be. Could have lost to Arizona, could have lost to Colorado, closer games that you didn't know that would be close. When they actually started facing competition, these are their last 6 games. 48-20, you lose to Notre Dame. 34-32, you lose to Utah. 50-49, you beat Cal by 1. Lost to Washington 52-42, 36-27 against Oregon, and a complete ass-kicking against UCLA 38-20. What happened this year? What happened this season? Because I think actually the amount of wins that they have still doesn't even tell the story. I don't even think they're, what are they, 7-5, whatever their record is. They're not a 7-5 school this year.
No, they're not.
They're not.
So what the craziest thing about this is UCLA is maybe one of the worst offenses in college football. They lost to Arizona State, the worst team in the Pac-12. They scored 7 points.
Saturday,
they got their 7th point.
They were Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce. They were the greatest show on turf.
They scored 7 points in that game against ASU, and that was in the fourth quarter. They couldn't score till the fourth quarter. They put up 38 on this USC defense. That is the worst USC defense that has been years. That's overall. That's not with Alex Grinch. They were supposed to simplify things. They did not simplify anything.
There's a couple of things going on here. UCLA put 38 on them on Saturday. They'd scored 45 in their previous 3 games combined. They scored 45 in their previous 3 games combined. They had 38 against USC.
My
so that because UCLA, we talked about it on Thursday. UCLA's offense is not good. UCLA's a pretty good defensive team.
Remember we said if they score 30.
They got 38. So they went beyond that. Here's the problem. And this is what, you watch it against Notre Dame, you're like, okay, maybe it's a bad day. And then you watch it against Arizona, you're like, wait, hold on a second. This is happening. And it was so glaring by the time you saw it against Oregon and by the time you saw it against UCLA on Saturday. They're slow on defense. USC can't be out-athleted all over the field by everybody, right? Like if you get out-athleted by Georgia, okay. At a few positions, okay. Alabama, okay.
How about every team in the Pac-12 that you face?
Every team has better athletes on that side of the ball. It was shocking to me, and I know I'm a broken record on this, but when SC is good, they're always going to have a high-profile quarterback. They're always going to have a wide receiver or two who's a high-profile wide receiver, running back, Heisman. I get it. That's
maybe
fine.
A special teams guy that can get returns.
But when they were with Pete Carroll cranked up, when they were cranked up under John Robinson, when they were cranked up under John McKay, all 5 of their offensive linemen would wind up in the NFL every season and frequently be first-round draft picks. Their entire front 4 or 3 or their linebacker, that whether it's Tutupu or Ray Maluga or a guy like Troy Polamalu, you have all of these devastating secondary guys. You have Frosty Ruckers up front. You have all of these guys that are long-time NFL defensive ends. Leonard Williams. It's like, where did those guys go? Why did you stop getting them? And they're at Ohio State, and they're at LSU, and they're at Michigan, and they're at Oregon. Kayvon Thibodeau grew up 10 minutes from here. He went to Oregon because they just don't have the pedigree. If I want to win and I want to go to the NFL, why would I go to SC?
Well, that was, first off, that was all supposed to change when Lincoln Riley got here.
Not on the offensive side, it's changed, but not on the other side.
But just in general, the game against UCLA, they look like boys taking on men.
Ugh.
The hits that UCLA was putting on them. Greg, we talked about this on Friday. I didn't think there was anything to play for both of these schools. And I'll tell you what I meant by that. Friday I was saying that this game doesn't mean anything. SC's not going anywhere. UCLA's not going anywhere. It doesn't mean anything. I didn't feel that way after the game ended because I didn't know they were going to get their ass kicked like that. I thought the only scenario that might make this game interesting is if UCLA stomps USC. That's not going to happen, right? They can put up 38 points on them. SC's only going to end up with 20 by scoring a late touchdown to even get to 20. Then we're sitting at 13. I thought it was a very fitting end to could be his final game. We'll see what happens.
It almost certainly is.
Very fitting end. By the way, there was a lot of hits he was taking on Saturday. I'm like, making some business.
That UCLA defense is a legit
it is good.
UCLA
It's a good defense.
It's one of the best in the country.
It's a very, very good defense.
And they're all going to be gone next year.
But I want to stick with Caleb Williams because something happened at the end of the game that I didn't like at all. We'll do that when we come back. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Slee, Prize Picks is just the most fun I've had playing daily fantasy sports, and I don't know how long. Had my game going yesterday. I did the Rams and the Seahawks. I had Geno Smith and Matthew Stafford, and this is what makes Prize Picks so good. You pick between 2 and 6 players. Yep. You look at their stat projections, and then you pick more or less. Do you think Matthew Stafford is going to throw for more or less than 180 or 284 yards? I chose less. I was right. You think Geno Smith is going to throw for more or less than 270 yards? More or less, you can win up to 25 times your money at Prize Picks. It's a ton of fun.
It's just you against the numbers instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. Like Travis said, you pick more than or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. I got my picks in already for today. Victor Wembanyama taking on the Clippers. I'm going to go less than 19.5 points. And Brandon Ingram taking on the Kings, I'm going to go more than 25.5 points. Here's the best part about it. Submit your entry. It takes about 60 seconds. Go to PricePicks.com/710 and make sure you use that code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. PricePicks.com/710. Use the promo code 710 and get that first deposit match of up to $100.
The return of Million Dollar Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction, both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million Mega Sports Station, 710 ESPN.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the fifth row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
Greg, am I seeing this right? Is Lewis in Valencia trying to help me with my turkey? Am I reading that correctly?
He says he has turkey advice for you.
Okay, good. So here's what's going on. I forgot to take the turkey out of the freezer on Friday, which was the instructions that I was given, so it's properly thawed to be roasted on Thanksgiving. Yep. Forgot to do it until this morning. So basically I gave away
days.
2 full days of
I think you just have to
time.
hit defrost on the microwave.
I don't think that's what we're looking for.
Speeds it up.
Help me out, Lewis. What's going on? What do I need to do to get this thing squared away?
All right, so funny. When I told Greg that, he was like, okay, hold on. Hey, this is how we do it on the show, Greg. You know, come on.
No, I was just I had other calls to get to, so you told me what you wanted to talk about. I put you on hold, and then we move on.
Congratulations on your win.
Take it easy.
Congratulations.
Guys.
Congratulations.
Come on, it's Thanksgiving.
Greg, hang up on yourself.
We're supposed to be all
No.
we're all supposed to be nice here.
No, Lewis, go ahead.
So, yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Hey, this is what you do, dude. Put the turkey in an ice chest full of water.
Okay.
So they do this with frozen tuna. Like if you like when all my buddies go out and catch like fresh like bluefin tuna.
Yep.
You want to bring it back in water, not cold water, but not warm water, just not ice cold water, just regular tap water, and it'll bring it back. Do the little hog ring at the top. You know how it's like vacuum sealed. It's got that little metal ring.
Yep.
Put that up so that it doesn't actually like leak into it.
Okay.
And if the water gets super cold, just dump it, and then just fill it back up, and do that for a day, and you're going to be safe, dude. I've done the same thing and this is how you do it. Rather than put it out in the sun, you don't want to put it out in the sun or leave it outside. I know you're just being like joking about that. But just put it in water in an ice chest because it's probably a 15, 14, somewhere around, bird.
19.8.
Ice chest full of. Okay, so use a big ice chest, but you're going to be good, dude. Don't worry, trust me on it.
Thank you, Lewis. That's incredibly useful. I'm going to do exactly that. What are you talking about?
Good afternoon, Lewis.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
There you go. We should be good to go. See? There we go. We're good.
He doesn't even look at me.
Greg,
do you know the story that happens out here? The story that happens out here? So we probably have 2 or 3 people every show that wait in the lobby and are trying to come in. Maybe it's UPS. Maybe it's this.
The vending machine guy.
The vending machine guy has an eye contact connection with Trav. I don't know if there's...
He knows that he likes food.
No, but I don't know if there's anything going on under the table. I wouldn't be surprised.
You think he's going to the key parties together?
No.
You're talking to him like a couple of bags of Cracker Jack.
Literally, that's all we're talking about. I don't know.
I like to take things
When does Emily come back?
I'm going to start walking away, Trav. This is now like the 3rd or 4th.
Well, you just... Yeah, my
I have no
Come
idea.
on, man. Do better.
All I wanted to do is just say there's a Butterfinger being stuck under the table. That's it.
I knew what you meant.
That's all I wanted to say. We have 10 visitors in the lobby every week. He only opens it up for them because he has control. Open it on his phone. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does.
2 visitors come in every week. It's the same guy who comes twice a week. Eye contact me. He doesn't even look at me. He just gets right in.
We're going to get stocked up. Whatever we need, he's going to get us covered.
Was that turkey help? Does that help?
It's incredibly helpful.
Okay.
I'm literally going to do it when I get home today because I am a little concerned about it. I've got some time this afternoon to kind of change out the water. I think I would have figured that out on my own, but no, Lewis confirmed it because just throwing it on the roof and letting the sun thaw it over the next couple of days was probably not the best way to do it.
Anything he said was like a foreign language to me. I didn't know what was going on.
Well, you don't even have a cooler, which still really upsets me. Like, it's still a very, very troublesome
we don't
piece
have
of
a good
information.
cooler.
Yeah.
We don't have.
Do you have one that could fit a turkey?
No.
Okay. Jorge, your idea of those big those buckets like you get at Home Depot, that would work too.
Yeah, you put it in a Home Depot bucket and fill it up with water and then leave it in there.
No, it's going to work out, Slee. All right, so let's go back to
now serving. No, I'm just playing.
Lincoln Riley did don't forget that Clay Helton was here before me.
What a stupid. What's the purpose of that comment?
I think I like Lincoln Riley. I think that I like what he brings. I like
the angle there.
It was like, dude, hold on. You can't show up and walk around like you invented football, and that guy brought you Heisman Trophy, and if he doesn't pull his hamstring in that game, who knows? And by the way, wasn't an outrageous position to take
for last year.
I'm like, yeah cool. And then everybody's like, hey, yeah, cool, but you give up 100 points a game. You're gonna do something about it? Nah. Mm-hmm. And then this season happened, and then at the end of the season, a complete. By the way, think about Notre Dame, UCLA, Oregon, Washington. You're 0-4 in those games. Arizona kicked Utah's ass. Oregon kicked Utah's ass. Like this is not the Utah team that we've seen over the last few years. This was a much more vulnerable team that went into the Coliseum with a walk-on quarterback and beat them. Okay, so you have no good wins to speak of. And your response is, well, don't forget how bad it was before I got here. That's a weird position to stake out after getting off to a pretty darn good start.
I think too, just kind of the evolution of listening to him talk after every game. It could be, we play in the toughest division in college football. It could be
maybe.
It could be, we're 1 or 2 plays away from still being basically undefeated.
That was a lie.
It's I think it's the, like you just mentioned right now, with just remember what this used to be. Nobody cares about any of that. USC, they were sold, especially by Lincoln Riley. Things are going to change, and just wait till I get my hands on this program. This ain't going to be the same. Nothing, at least exactly this season. Right. I'm going to go back to just this season alone. I'm sure there's a lot of SC fans now questioning where the program is. Listen, it's a fair question. I'm not telling you Lincoln Riley's losing his job tomorrow, but I think if Lincoln Riley has another season like this next year, which can very easily
happen. Another 7-5-ish kind of season?
6-6, 7-5, whatever it is. You're going to tell me that SC fans aren't asking themselves, hey, is this the right coach for the job?
There will be a meeting in a room somewhere. I don't think that...
Go see what Oklahoma's done the last 2 years.
Short of going like 2-10, 3-9, something like that, I don't think anything happens. But a 6-6, a 7-5, a 5-7, I think there's a meeting in a room somewhere that we're so. How much does that buy out? What would we have to do? Who's on the list? It was weird. I'll tell you what else was weird. I like Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. I think he's incredibly exciting to watch. I like his game. He's competitive.
Yeah.
There's very few things about him that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Him not talking to anybody after that game on Saturday, that was bad. That sucked. Dude, stand up and answer some questions after you just had a crappy season. That's okay. You had a bad and it's not like you had a crappy season. Your team had a crappy season. Stand up and talk about it. You're the quarterback. You're going, whoever takes you, you're going to be the guy that has to stand up every single week. Whether it's
takes
good,
you is going to be a bad
team.
team.
Probably going to be a bad
Mm-hmm.
team. So you're going to have to dealing with disappointment and things that aren't working, and you're going to have to wear them. I'm not saying that he can't, but I just one of those really. He's not going to play in that bowl game. I'd be shocked if he played in the bowl game.
He shouldn't play in that bowl
He shouldn't. I agree with you. So you know what?
Yeah, nothing to play for.
This is my last game as a member of this football program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stand up and what do you guys want to ask me today? I'm going to give you where my head is. That he dodged that bullet.
Can I ask
really
the process
lousy.
of that? Because I'm not 100% sure of the process. I remember there was a game, I can't remember which one, where Lincoln Riley didn't make any of his players available, and everybody
was not this.
Everybody was upset about that.
But he gets it from Lincoln Riley, who allows this to happen. Even when he was at Oklahoma last year, he did the same kind of things, I believe.
Is this one of those where Lincoln Riley just says, "Hey, you're good. I block you out. You don't have to talk"?
No, that's not what happened. Mm-hmm. He declined to speak with the media.
Okay.
He did.
Yeah,
this was not that the USC made him unavailable for comment. This was he opted not to talk.
Do you think any of this will hurt NFL teams from wanting to take him?
I don't know, Greg, but I will say this. I
don't think so.
I don't either, but I do think it's something you ask about if you're one of those teams.
Why didn't you talk after the UCLA game?
Take me through your decision not to talk after you got your ass kicked.
Take me through your decision.
How about this?
After the game
How about
before
this?
That. There's a lot of those.
No,
things
that's okay.
That
I don't
one
care
doesn't
about
bother
that.
me.
That one I
That
don't
one
care.
doesn't bother me.
In the heat of the moment, it's over. I did everything I can, and I play with a defense that can't get any stops. This is the final game that you're potentially representing the University of Southern California. You were there for 2 years. You won a Heisman. You got your ass kicked at the Coliseum against UCLA. I'm with you. Stand up there, have a microphone, answer the questions, talk about it being a disappointing season, talk about nobody thought that they would have that bad of a year. I feel as responsible as anybody else. Go out with some...
Dude, you're talking when you win, right?
Yeah.
Of course you are. You're going to come out and be like, oh, yeah, we took it to...
super complicated
it's
in my
easy
world.
route
You
right
would have
there. I don't
written
like that.
UCLA on your fingernails like you did last year.
If you're going to talk after you win, I'm going to need you to talk after you lose.
Yep.
And especially if you're the quarterback, and especially if you are the presumptive number one pick, especially
it's the name everybody knows across the country.
This is the guy that his dad a few months ago was saying, look, if we don't like the team that's picking us at the top, I don't know what we're going to do.
Going to Arizona.
Now you won't answer a question. Hey, why did you get your butt kicked by UCLA? I don't want to talk. What? Come on, man. And again, they're not going to grill you. It's not going to be the worst experience of your life. Just stand there and answer some
the only
questions.
thing you can't do that looks bad is not grabbing a mic. You're right about that.
It was weird.
You're right about that.
Again, he's a terrific player, and I like him, and I think he's got an incredibly bright future, but
Nobody's
just stand there and
questioning
answer
that.
some questions.
Yeah.
Just stand there and do it, and we can move on from
He
there.
is so talented that it won't make a difference to whatever NFL team takes him.
I don't think so either. I think he'll land exactly where he's going to land, which is in the top 2 or 3 picks, if not the top
number
pick
one.
overall.
It's going to be number one.
I think so, too.
He's the best quarterback out there.
The only thing that could happen is if like a team like Chicago gets the number 1 pick,
And
which
they
they
don't
might,
wanna
they
trade
want to
it.
stay with Justin Fields and go from there.
Well, I mean, they won this weekend. You might want to keep him.
What's he
Yeah,
getting you?
pretty
Is it
good.
the top ramen cups? What's happening?
Those are so salty.
Oh yeah, they're very salty.
They're good,
Yeah.
but it's like
Oh yeah,
when you're done, it's just so salty.
Yeah.
It's like you know what else is super salty? In-N-Out. Like you eat your In-N-Out, right? And then when you're done, you're home. You're like, man, that was good. And then a half hour later, you're like, I need like 11 glasses of water.
Yeah. No, it's gonna take a second. Yeah, you gotta,
And that's ramen. You're like,
gotta get back in.
your lips are sticking together. Got a little situation going on. Factor Caps coming up next. It's Trav and Slee. Don't look at me like that, Jorge. 710 ESPN.
It's on YouTube, man.
Is your vehicle due for service? If it is, head into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Because for over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you. And so before you head out on your Thanksgiving holiday, before you pack it up to go to grandma's or your mom's or your dad's or your brother, your sister, your best friends, make sure that you head into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change and let the expert technicians make sure that your ride is at its absolutely best. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission, car, and more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. There are over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time. So before you head out for the holidays, visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Every Friday, we're giving away
ESPN.
At ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation.
Cap. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
no, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Greg.
Hello, Greg.
Was I supposed to go higher with my voice?
No, that was
good. More of like
that was good.
Hey, guys. All right, so
Good afternoon, Greg.
I took good afternoon, Jorge. That's for you. Yeah, good afternoon is right. All right. You guys don't know what that is, do you?
I know that you don't like it.
Good afternoon.
No, we love it.
Start the show, right?
We love that.
we'll
good
explain
afternoon.
Oh, I thought you were against good afternoon.
No. That's Mace. But
okay.
Good afternoon is from a movie, and it means F you.
Then good afternoon.
All right, so I took Riley to Disneyland yesterday for her birthday. She's 12.
Happy birthday.
All right, very nice.
Or her birthday was on Saturday, but we took her Sunday.
Yeah.
And she brought a friend with her friend Leslie, and you could tell that the two of them wanted to go off on their own. And
Just the three of you guys?
No, it was us three, and then my two friends, John, Laura, and their 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old son Tycho.
Okay.
So we had a really good time. It was fun. But you could tell that the two of them kind of wanted to go off on their own, but I didn't. There's 12, so I thought that was too young for them to go off on their own. I mean, they have cell phones, so that's okay, but 13 is an acceptable age to let her roam around Disneyland on her own with a cell phone. Fact or cap? Travis.
I'm going to go cap. I think you could have turned her loose yesterday. I think 12 is the number. I think 12 is the age because let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you trust her to, generally speaking, make good decisions?
Yes.
Then turn her loose. Right? Because
I wanted to, but I was like, I didn't know what her friends' parents were thinking.
Maybe something to check with them first. Like, hey, I'm thinking, and look, like you said, there's phones now, and every couple hours I need you to meet me over here.
Right.
And just touch base with them here and there. It's an incredibly safe environment in there, right? I think that if they were 8, then you're like, nah, you got to stay with Dad here for a minute. But 12 feels like, was she in 6th, 7th grade?
She's in 6th grade.
6th grade, yeah. So that feels like about the time that you can kind of, I need you to check in with me, and if I text you, I need you to respond back to me. But I think 12, you could have cut them loose.
All right. Sliwa?
I'll go cap, but this is more the other way. And it makes me think of growing up, and it makes me think of how my sisters are with my nieces. Sounds young. Sounds young to me. And Trav, it's not that you don't trust them. It's more just the environment of, and it's Disneyland. Nobody's saying that, they're going to.
If they were at a monster truck rally, I'd probably stay with them. But if Disneyland.
Probably a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I just go back to growing up, and like I said, just seeing my sisters and my nieces. That sounds young to me. I think that was.
What's the age?
Probably 15.
15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 15. 15 or 25.
Jorge, what's the right age?
Oh, man, I'm heading this way, too. I have a 5-year-old, so this is listening to Travis saying, it's a safe environment, so I will feel somewhat more on, the comfortable side. But, again, I'm also with the other girl's parents. Like, you check in with those.
If they were uncomfortable with it, then you can't do it.
You can't do it, yeah.
But if they're like, yeah, if you're good, we're good, and they're going to check in, knock yourself out.
So her parents wouldn't let her sleep over so I could take her, at 6:30 in the morning.
Okay.
They had to drive her and drop her off
early.
at 6. No, we got there at 8.
Oh, that's a
Perfect.
early start. How long did you stay?
I didn't get home till 9:30.
That's a full day.
Is it open at 8?
I'm exhausted.
I believe it
today.
opens at 8.
It opens at 7:30. Early start, 7:30.
Early start. You have to be in the hotel, I think, to get that early start. But, yeah, it's opened at 8.
Long day.
The correct time to show up is like 1.
5, 6.
Get out of there about 7. It's about right.
Well, yeah, but if it's for a birthday, she wants to go.
teasing you.
Yeah. But, okay, that's that one. Now I have to get this back up. But, okay, so we're thinking 13, 14 is about.
I'm saying 12.
All right, I think next year I might just let her go.
She'll be fine.
Okay, all right. So my brother is extremely negative UCLA fan. It actually drives me pretty crazy.
Okay.
Every bad play is Chip Kelly's fault. I mean, I kind of agree that Chip Kelly, not even kind of, Chip Kelly
Said
does
a lot
still
of
need
tweets
to go.
about that. He's got to go.
No, he does need to go. Chip
Okay.
Kelly still needs to go. Just because you beat USC, that doesn't mean you get to stay. That's ridiculous. Chip Kelly's, everything is his fault. But like, it'd be a bad pass. If Chip Kelly would have done this, it would have been. That's what it is. So, but otherwise, it's okay to kick him out of a group chat of 4 people during games. Sliwa.
I think fact. I mean, look, there's a couple ways to play it. You can just ignore the group chat, but if you want to communicate with everybody else on there and he's the one that's holding everything down, I think you got to kind of give him a little warning. Listen, bro, we'd like to just have a good conversation, and you can't just be all about this. And if he doesn't agree to it, get his ass out of there.
Just kick him out.
Get his ass out of there.
Jorge.
It sounds like he's just trolling you at this point because every time. No, he's been
he
like this whole
calls me
time?
and does it too.
Oh, then yeah, kick his ass out.
Kick his ass out.
All right, Trev.
Leave him in. Leave him in. You need because if everybody's on the same page, you need a wild card in the group. That's what makes those group chats fun. If you just want to watch, people very methodically break it down, turn on PBS.
But
right? You need somebody that's an emotional wreck in these conversations. That's what makes them fun.
Isn't there a difference between that was a stupid play call and that was Chip Kelly's fault? If he would have drafted the right or recruited the right offensive line, this never would have happened.
Maybe he's on to something.
Oh God, it's just so much.
Maybe he's a forward
constantly, everything. I get it. So yeah, okay. So you think keep him.
Yeah, I like all of us, we have 4 or 5 different group chats, maybe more than that, and there's always somebody in the group chats that's the wild card. If it's just super tame, what are we doing here?
All right, I see what
you're
saying.
in a group chat with Morales. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm in a lot of group chats with
kick his ass out of there.
All right. By the way, our group chat is called the Catalina Whiskey Mixer, so I love that. It's a big, good name.
It is a good name.
Yeah. All right. The Jets were smoked by the Bills yesterday, who had lost 4 of their last 6 and didn't look good in the 2 wins either. Zach Wilson was benched in the third quarter for someone named Tim Boyle,
right,
who is now being named the starter moving forward. Zach Wilson was benched. Zach Wilson should never play professional football again. Jorge Factor Cap.
Zach Wilson should sit down. That's it. Simple as that. Go date somebody else's mom.
Look, we've all got our lanes, Jorge. Don't judge a man.
Travis?
No, he needs to never play football for the Jets again. But a change of environment sometimes. Look, I don't think he's going to be a good pro. He was the second pick in the draft, which means there's at least some raw material in there. Go to another place, see if someone else can get it. It ain't going to happen in New York. It's not going to happen with Robert Saleh. It's not going to happen with that media, with that fan base. It's over in New York. But let's see what happens if you go to a place that's a little bit less toxic, a little bit less reactive in these things. I'm not saying he's good, but everybody gets a second stop, especially if you're a first-round draft pick.
Al?
I'm okay giving him a second stop, but his role with the Jets was to back up Aaron Rodgers. This was never the plan, right? It was never the plan for him to have this much presence on a team that certainly was trying to win right now. You have also a good defense and the fact that he couldn't make anything work, but it was never set up to be this way. And I think that's the point. The point is that he was put into a tough position. He clearly cannot fit that need.
And he's not very good. Let's not get it twisted. He's not good, but is he that bad? I'd like to see it somewhere.
Would you want him?
Yeah, you might be right.
Would you want him to be the backup quarterback for the Rams?
He'd be okay. That's a great question. I can almost guarantee you that with a little time with Sean McVay, he would have been better than Brett Rippon.
that I actually,
you know what I mean?
I
like
agree
he would
with that.
be better than Brett Rippon because he's played a season and a half of NFL football as a starter. Now
Brett Rippon did too.
What's that?
Brett Rippon played in Denver.
Like 3 games.
Yeah, he played though.
But 3 games is not being the starter for real for 2 seasons. That's a totally different thing. So, yeah, I would rather have him than Brett Rippon. I would rather have him than John Wolford. I'd rather have him than Bryce Perkins, of the guys that they were using. Now, I'd take Wentz. I'd take Mayfield ahead of a player like Wilson. But I'd kick the tires on it, sure.
See, but I also think that this may not have been the Jets' plan, but this was Zach Wilson's plan to actually be the starter. He said before the season, he's like, I'm going to make whatever veteran quarterback comes in here their life hell.
Yeah.
And
that didn't happen.
Yeah, that didn't happen. And then he's playing, and he looks like garbage.
No, it's over. Because the fact that they didn't move on from him even after getting Rodgers, I think told you that they thought that maybe if Rodgers comes in, let's say plays a couple of years, and then he moves on, that maybe Wilson could soak up some of that Aaron Rodgers, essence, and it just did not
Well, you
happen.
were saying for a long time, why the hell are they still going with him? And that was weeks ago. So the fact that he even went this long says a lot, too.
You just need to watch Troy Aikman watch a half hour of Zach Wilson and know what football people think of his ability to play that position.
All right, so last one I got here for you is tonight is Eagles-Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Really, really good game. This is the last good matchup that you can remember on Monday Night Football. Travis.
Well, the way you asked it, it's fact. I can't remember, but there's always some games.
That's the question.
There's always some games that pop up that are really good games you don't expect them
like
to be.
the matchups. You're seeing 2 really, really good teams on Monday Night Football. I don't remember the last time it happened.
Yeah, it's been a minute. This is a Super Bowl rerun, right, from a year ago, and it's very likely a Super Bowl preview as well, right? That this could be kind of the second of a 3-game match between 2 Super Bowls and a Monday night game. It's really good, which means it might be a dud, right? When you look forward to these, like sometimes you get that
14-7
Denver against the Raider game. You're like, oh, this is going to suck, and it turns out to be pretty good.
52-49.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think last week we were doing it right. I'm not saying that there has not been other good Monday Night Football games, but we were talking about the anniversary of the Rams and the Chiefs. You don't have them often. That's the only game that I could think of off the top of my head. But there's also a lot of games around the NFL. It doesn't matter whether it was a Sunday night football, whether it was Monday night football, whether it was Thursday night football. I just don't remember a lot of them. You find ways to remember certain games, but I'm looking forward to this one. I haven't looked forward to a Monday night game in a little bit.
All right, Slee. So there was a rumor that popped off over the weekend about the Dodgers, and not only are they interested in Shohei Ohtani, what we all knew, but are they interested in another Angel superstar as well? That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. So you've heard Al and I talk a lot about Prize Picks. It's the most fun we've had playing DFS in a very long time. I usually talk about the football games. Al usually talks about the basketball games. Fact of the matter is you can combine them. This is something you can do at Prize Picks. You pick between 2 and 6 players, you look at the statistical projections, and then you just choose more or less. For example, LeBron James and Travis Kelce, a combo, 10.5 3-pointers and receptions, right? Do you think more or less than that? These are the sorts of things you can play at Prize Picks. You get up to 25 times your money. You're going to have a ball. You can combine sports. You can talk junk to your buddies. You can do it all at Prize Picks.
All right, I got my picks already in for tonight. NBA. I'm usually looking for the NBA games. Victor Wembanyama for the San Antonio Spurs. I'm going to go less than 19.5 points. Brandon Ingram taking on the Sacramento Kings. I'm going to say more than 25.5 points. Here's the best thing about Prize Picks. It takes about 60 seconds to get your entries in and submit. It's just you against the numbers instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. You pick more than or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. Take advantage of that $100 deposit match. Just go to prizepicks.com/710 and use the code 710 for that first deposit match of up to $100 against prizepicks.com/710 and make sure you use that code 710.
The biggest show on the radio.
Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
$1 Million Mondays are back on 710, and I think we got caller number 7, Jack. Are you ready, partner? Let's find out who's caller number 7.
Indeed we do. Caller number 7 is from Southgate, and it is Omar Lopez. Omar, congratulations on being caller number 7.
Yeah, that's right, man. Just in time on my lunch break, man. Called you guys in. I got in.
Perfect. All right. Omar, you got a chance to win $1 million if you can give us the score and the teams of the Super Bowl coming up here in a little bit. You need an AFC, an NFC, and the combined score. What do you got?
I got the 49ers against the Ravens.
Okay.
And I got the Niners winning 35-28.
35-28, the 49ers over the Baltimore Ravens. You got that right?
Yeah, you got that right.
All right, good luck, Omar. You got a chance to win $1 million, and just for playing, you get 2 tickets to a game at SoFi Stadium on December 17th. This is $1 Million Mondays on 710, presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play. Good luck, Omar.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Thank you.
You got it. That's got to be exciting when you got a chance at $1 million.
Do you remember, have we had a Ravens pick this year? Did we get something early?
Maybe one. I think we might have. We've had a lot of Niners.
Yep.
Understandably so.
Chiefs and Eagles.
A lot of Chiefs, a lot of Eagles. I think we've even had a Dolphins or 2
early on
thrown in there.
Yeah, you're right.
As well.
Yeah.
But Baltimore, only 1 or 2. Only 1 or 2.
You know what I thought he was going to do? I thought he was going to take tonight's matchup. I was going to take Casey.
It's not a bad pick.
Yeah.
That's not a bad pick. So if, let's just say, Travis Kelce has a quiet night.
Mm-hmm.
How long was we in the first quarter before they start blaming it on his trip to Argentina? Because you know they're going to.
Yeah, that's coming.
Yeah, it's not like he went from Kansas City to New Orleans.
Here's the problem with that. If he has a great night, then they're going to be giving all the credit to Taylor Swift. Look, even when Emily's not here, I brought up Taylor Swift.
We just lay around and wait to criticize. We very rarely wait around to give credit.
That part's true. By the way, DeAndre is all geared up in his Philly gear. And that's an actual, I'm a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
He is.
Where a lot of the other times with his gear, it's more just...
It's hard to figure out.
Yeah, it's more just, hey,
I've seen Dodger and Angel gear.
I've seen Giants.
I've seen Giants.
Mariners.
Mariners.
Although I will say this.
Yeah,
that Mariner jersey,
we're talking about.
His Mariner jersey, that Ken Griffey jersey, that's a pretty good one.
Good. You don't have to be a Mariner fan for that jersey.
No, that one's right.
I've seen him in Cowboys gear, too. He's got a picture.
No, he can't have Cowboys gear.
He's got a picture.
He's an Eagles fan. He can't have Cowboys gear.
That's what you think.
DeAndre.
That's like being a Laker fan and having Celtics gear.
You have Cowboys gear too? Yep.
No,
he says no Cowboys.
Show him the picture, Doc. Post it.
Come on, bro. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised. You say you wear the gear a lot of times. It just goes with your fit. No Cowboys.
No, not as an Eagles fan. You can't do that.
Well, that's what I thought too.
Remember when they cut off Ireland's tie because it was green on St. Patrick's Day?
Don't messing around on
No,
this.
you can't do it.
There's no messing around.
So there was a story over the weekend. And a story is... I'm not quite sure what to call this, Al. Mm-hmm. Hector Gomez, who is a reporter for Z101 Digital, said that the Dodgers, quote, intend to be very aggressive in their pursuit of Ohtani and, quote, are willing to give up their best prospects in an attempt to acquire Mike Trout via a trade. Okay, I get it. Mike Trout's a big name. Dodgers are a big team, et cetera, et cetera. This is exactly what the Dodgers never do. Mm-hmm. We all know that they're going to go in as heavy as they possibly can to try to get Ohtani. I really do think they're going to move heaven and earth to try to get it done.
Which is a little bit different, as in they'll overpay. They'll do something they're not accustomed to doing or they're not comfortable with doing because it's Ohtani.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think that's – but what the Dodgers are incredibly reluctant to do are trade away their best prospects because prospects are cheap. And they're really reluctant to do it for older, declining players, which is exactly what Mike Trout is.
Who are expensive.
That are he's the most expensive player in baseball. Mm-hmm. Maybe not on an AAV, but he makes about $38 million a year. He's got 7 years left on his deal. 7 more years. He's playing less and less every season.
Life goes by so fast, those 7 years.
Also, Artie Moreno, what do we know about him? He's got this weird thing where he's preoccupied with the Dodgers, right? Do you think the last thing on his roster that he has of value, he wants to send up the road to the team that he's preoccupied with?
Of course he doesn't.
Of course not.
Ohtani could have been on the trading block if he was on the trading block, which he wasn't. But if he was on the trading block come the trade deadline and the Dodgers had a better offer than another team, I genuinely believe he would have took the worse offer to make sure that Ohtani wasn't with the Dodgers.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
This is one of these. No, that's not going to happen. This is the Dodgers would never do it. The Angels would never send him to L.A. And I'm not even sure Mike Trout wants to leave Anaheim at this point. Like, have you gotten any vibe from this guy at any point that, you know what, I'm fed up with this? I know that he doesn't like losing because nobody does. He's been there a decade plus. He's played in 3 playoff games, won none of them. And he hasn't really made a peep about it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem like he's to the point where I just can't do this anymore, guys. Get me the hell out of here. And lastly,
you don't think any of that happening at all, maybe behind closed doors?
Now?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think so, by the way, because I think maybe this Ohtani coming and going might change, and it might even just for the Angels to say, let's do a proper reset. But that's also doing things that are responsible.
Here's why I don't think it's behind closed doors. Because if he did, it didn't help, and he's still there. Mm-hmm. So if he was trying to do it behind closed doors and nothing happened, now I got to do it out in public. I can go to you privately and say, listen, I'm not really feeling this anymore. Why don't you go and see if you can move me somewhere else? I've given you guys 10 years. And they go, oh, we'll see. I couldn't find anything. Now you say, I don't want to be here anymore. And now they have no choice. They have to do it. They've weakened their negotiating position because you wouldn't do it privately. It's the only thing they have left. I know they got some good young players, but them being competitive is way down the road. Anthony Rendon, crazy expensive, never plays. Mike Trout, crazy expensive, never plays. He's not coming to L.A. That was the easiest deflected rumor that I've heard in a long time because on any level, none of it made any sense.
It's very similar to those. We talk about it with the NBA, where a name like Zach LaVine's going to be thrown around the Lakers because it's the Lakers,
right?
And it's going to make some good pub. I'm with you. I think this is just.
But the Lakers occasionally, and this is not a throw. The Lakers sometimes do something. They go, they did what? Like they'll occasionally say, let's just do it.
What I meant is more around the just rumors of affiliating the Lakers with it and going from there.
Not going to happen. Speaking of the Lakers, they get a win last night. Yep. LeBron was not just good. LeBron was great, and there wasn't anything about it that I like seeing moving forward. I can't talk right now, Slee. There isn't anything I like about that moving forward. That's what I was trying to say. Strav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the fifth row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
You made your pick yet? You survived with the Lions. You looked at it yet?
I haven't looked. Yeah, I haven't looked.
Let's
it
see.
all get because it will all get refreshed after tonight's game.
Yep.
But I have not looked at the schedule anyways, and by the time I
let's take it. So none of the Thanksgiving Day games are interesting. Packers, Lions. You just took the Lions, so you can't do that. You're not going to take the Packers.
Yeah, how many years on?
Have you taken the Cowboys yet?
I think I have taken the Cowboys. You know how many years on Thanksgiving I've demolished? Why do I have to watch the Lions? It's the first year where I'm like, hey, I'm okay.
They're exciting.
I'm all right to watch
They
them.
score a lot of points.
Yeah.
Niners and Seahawks, that's a stay away. There's a Friday night game, Black Friday game, by the way, which is exciting. It shouldn't say Friday night. It's at noon. Dolphins and Jets. Have you taken the Dolphins?
I'll tell you right now who I've taken, who I have left. I gotta find the screen here. Give me a couple minutes. I'll come back to you and I'll show.
That could be
I'll show
interesting. That could be interesting. And then the rest of them are all kind of piled up here in the same kind. Have you taken the Rams?
No.
Got the Cardinals. They could lose that game.
Yeah, that's
the Chiefs Raiders. Have you taken the Chiefs?
I've taken the Chiefs.
All right. Eagles, Bills.
I think Jacksonville was the other team that I hadn't taken. Oh, actually the other team I think I mentioned too. I think I take Philly yet.
Oh.
If you remember, I was talking to you about it. That's one of the ones that I have not taken.
Here's a
yet.
tricky one. They're at home. They're playing a team that's one game over 500, but I don't know if you want that. It's the Bills. Because Josh Allen could just have one of those days, right?
Sure.
He could have one of those days where he throws 4 touchdown passes, runs for another, and you're out. Right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. If I'm forced to do it, then that might be the best of the options available.
All right, so forced to do it. Is that what the Lakers are? Are the Lakers forced to play LeBron James the way that they're using him right now? Because he was terrific last night. Never mind the qualifier of here's a guy in his 21st year, a guy that's closing in on 39 years old, and all of the other things that we know about LeBron. He's just one of the best players in the league so far this year. Period. Regardless of circumstance. But the circumstance is what I think has you worried and me worried. The 2024 Lakers cannot be LeBron's just got to go out there and be a dude every night and hope that AD's really good too and whatever else happens after that. The whole plan from the beginning of the season was the opposite of that. Hey, let's build a team around these guys so they can have a slightly easier path during the regular season. We can still win games. It just hasn't happened, and if LeBron's not great, they don't win.
There's a couple things that I look at, and there's a quote here that I want to read from Austin Reeves yesterday. He said, if Bron plays like this, we want him to play 48 minutes. Austin, don't say that.
No, you don't.
Don't say that.
Don't give anybody any ideas.
Yeah, Reeves, don't say that. Don't say that. Remember how we were talking about should the Lakers go get a third star? And the idea is no. They don't need a third star. You got to have role players.
Have a team.
Have a team. If they're going to be this dependent on him to play 40 minutes, 35 minutes a game, something along those lines, and the role players are going to be this inconsistent, then I'm more open to listening to, well, what do you have in mind?
Yeah.
Because I don't believe, and I love what you said there. You're like, look, let me stop for a second. I'm not discrediting what the man is doing. This is unbelievable. It's unreal. But when the expectations for the Lakers are not, hey, let's just watch LeBron play great basketball. There was a time in Kobe's career where you kind of said to yourself, all right, this is it. Let him do his thing, whatever you can do. Winning and losing did not matter. This year, you're supposed to be top 5 in the NBA. You're supposed to be top 3 in the Western Conference. You're supposed to come off of the Western Conference Finals and compete. Everybody wants to see that. They're 8-6. They got a couple easy games coming up. Well, at least one tomorrow and a tough one against Dallas, I think. I don't really know what Dallas is. They could be 10-6. I'd say that's a really good start for the Lakers.
Yep.
The issue starts becoming, Trev, look at this. I went on ESPN and I'm looking at Bron is averaging 34.4 minutes per game. Okay? These are all the players that are playing less minutes than LeBron James per game. Joel Embiid, Devin Booker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler, LaMelo Ball, Pascal Siakam, Dame, Karl Anthony Towns, Steph Curry, Paolo Banchero is super young. I'm just showing you guys that are A, franchise players, and B, players that are younger players in the NBA. Bron's the oldest player in the NBA. Sometimes I take a step back after that Blazer game, take a step back after the Rockets game and say, this is unbelievable. But I keep coming back to this also is not this is not the recipe to win. For the Lakers to be standing there in April where you kind of got the playoff standings all set, you get those last couple of weeks is get ready for the playoffs. How do we get to February? That's my only concern here is if these other guys are so wildly inconsistent and Bron has to do this for a 1-point win against the Rockets in November.
That's the thing.
At home?
Yeah.
And they got lucky to win yesterday's game.
It's not a 1-point win against the Nuggets where Jokic had a night and you just needed your best guy to be better than their best guy.
On the road.
Right. This is the Rockets, at best, are a middle-of-the-road team.
Yeah.
Right? They're better than I think anybody thought they would be.
They're actually not a bad team.
They're not a bad team.
But even if they're a 7th or 8th team in the playoffs, that would be an unbelievable year for them.
This is a perfect example of the thing that I say fairly regularly. Two things can be true at the same time that don't make any sense. This is awesome, what he's able to do, and they need to find something different. That this is what he's doing at this point in his career, at this point, is remarkable beyond anything that I can even compare it to because, like you said, oldest player in the league. They need to find a different way to win games because if this is the only way they can win games, they're not going anywhere. It just won't work. Could
that be the reality that this is the only way?
It may be. But if that is the reality, then it comes back to the other thing that you're talking about. You got to find a new way, or then I guess we just kind of go, like you said about Kobe a minute ago. Are we in that point? It's just like, look, let's just enjoy it on the nights he goes out there and does his thing. Just enjoy that because they're not really going anywhere. And I don't think that's true. I do think that LeBron, Davis, and a good supporting cast is a dangerous playoff team. I just don't think they can get into the playoffs where they need to be if you got to burn him like this. If you got to, it's such heavy usage. Once in a while, if you did this 3 times a month, 4 times a month, okay, cool. You can't do it 3 times a week. And that's what they're doing. They're doing it 3 times a week, and th're beating the Rockets by 1. They're in a tight game with the Portland Trailblazers, and you need A-plus LeBron to do it. There is no end game of this that's satisfying to anybody.
I think I will say this. I think there are a lot of Laker fans that are kind of speaking the same tune, right? They understand what's happening. You want to stack up W's when you can. You want to feel good about, okay, hey, Lakers got to win. They lost last game by the Rockets against the Rockets by 34, but they also understand. And if we all get it, then I could only imagine what's happening then in that Lakers facility of then saying to themselves, unless Rui's more consistent, D'Lo's more consistent, Reeves is more consistent, Christian Wood, Taurean Prince, Cam Reddish, all these guys, unless they're all consistent, how do you get to February? And I keep, listen, I'm not talking about, just think about how much basketball is left. You got the rest of November. You're going to have 15 to 17 games coming up in December, 15 to 17 games in January. To get to February is a haul in this Lakers season, right? Then you get that all-star break where everybody gets a second to okay, let's take a deep breath. You still got 25 games after that. You see what I'm saying? That's the part that I think is tough to balance.
I'm going to go back to something you said a second ago about how, they got to get more consistency out of this guy, that guy, or the other guy. Guys like D'Angelo Russell, guys like Rui, Vanderbilt, and these other guys, the reason they are who they are in this league is because they aren't consistent.
Yeah.
Like what makes a star is that the floor is very high. It's the NBA. Anybody can go off, right? If D'Angelo Russell in the next game had 40, be like, wow, D'Angelo had a great night. But you wouldn't be knock you over with a feather shocked. But his floor is much lower than a star player, right? So you're going to get these wild fluctuations. The one that I thought that the floor might be a little higher than it's been so far, at least, is Reeves. Reeves is the one that I know what I'm going to get with D'Angelo, and by that I mean I don't exactly know what it's going to be on any given night. With Rui, with these other guys, with a player like Gabe Vincent when he comes back, you kind of just going to have to kind of ride the waves with these guys. Reeves, I thought, was going to be a little bit more of a consistent force and a consistent presence in what he's done, and he's been all over the map. So I think you give him a little bit more time to figure out what it is that he's going to do in that third player role, that third best player role. Because if this is what he is, kind of up, down, you're never quite sure what it's going to be, then you got to ask yourself very different. Do we need to go find a different third best player?
Yeah, they caught up. I will say this. Last night's game was actually a perfect example. There's a lot of times where Reeves last year was able to, I could go get myself a bucket. Now it seems like there's a dude in front of him every time. Almost seems like a hair slower.
It's on the game plan.
It's almost a hair slower. And just that little piece of being slower changes everything. He didn't have a bad game yesterday, but I think, like you said, he's going to have a good game. It's a bad game.
I got one for you. What's more likely, and we can do this on the other side,
okay,
that they add somebody that's a difference maker or that the floor on their role players comes up a little bit? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The return of $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 million mega sports station, 710 ESPN.
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app. And bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
So I'm trying to, I got a little Mason text going on here. I'm trying to figure out who Jack has left in the pick as well, because or one, I should say. We're trying to get down to the last two people that we know here at the station, because this pool is a very non-7-10 thing that Ireland looped us into it.
130 people, something like that.
Have you kind of thought a little bit about winning, like what you'll do? Or you still kind of, if it happens, it happens.
I think
because
still
it's a
on
few
the,
hundred. It's more than a few $100.
Okay, here's the thing. I have no idea how much money it is. Number one, and I haven't really kind of done the math. I've been more worried.
$3,000.
I've been more worried about our weekly picks that have nothing to do with anything, and you don't get anything for it. I've been more concerned about those.
Concerned about the dinner.
Well, look, I need to start getting going on our show picks, because I'm getting
you were there for a while.
It's the Slee. Come on, man. We've been doing this 3 years now. It's the same thing. I start hot.
Yeah.
I'm terrible through the middle of the year, and then I get hot at the end.
Look what happened. We've done this 2 years now. It's the third year. 1 year, I won the regular season. You won the playoffs. The next year, okay, now think about it a little more. 1 year, I won the regular season. You won the playoffs. The next year, you won the regular season. I won the playoffs. And then we're at this year where both you and I
rubber
are
match.
nowhere.
But my path is like the first 2 or 3 weeks, I'm like doing pretty well. And then I have like a 10-week lull, which is puts us right about right now. You know what?
And then you start hitting it.
Now that SC's done, I got SC. SC played 12 games. I got them right once. One time I went 1-11
You took
against
SC
the spread.
on this one too?
I did, because everybody else had UCLA, so I just kind of went the other direction.
No, I think you won this one.
No, I did not.
Because I took SC.
You were the only other one. The other two
okay.
had.
All right, got it.
So, no, Emily had UCLA. Anyway, I could not get – I pick against him, they'd cover. I'd pick with them, they'd lose. I could not get them right all season long. Let's go back to the Lakers for a sec. So, LeBron's been great. LeBron's been AA+, right, so far this season. Anthony Davis has been A minus, probably. Is that fair?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it is.
So it's about the best you could hope for. Mm-hmm. The rest of it, not what you would hope for. Really kind of across the board. There's been some
and they've
highs.
been available.
They've been available.
Each guy's only missed one game.
For sure. So what happens next? Do they need to go find another A or A minus or maybe a B plus guy, or do they just have to cross their fingers and hope that Reeves and Rui and D'Lo and Vincent and any of these other players, Vando, and whoever it is, that they just find some level of performance that you can count on game in and game out?
Here's the only thing the Lakers got going for them, I think, right now. They don't have to make a decision on this today. So I think to answer your question, but let me play it out for you. Let's say that a month from now, we're at December 20th and it's still the same script.
Okay.
Let's say 1 month after that, January 20th, we're still at the same script. I don't think you have a choice.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Do you even think you can get 2 months from now and it's still the same thing? Like, do you think
No, I
LeBron
don't.
will
No.
last another 2 months doing this? I don't.
No, I don't either. I just don't think it's physically possible.
What about another month? What's today, the 20th?
Yeah.
December 20th. Is LeBron still playing 36 minutes a night and carrying the water every single night if they're going to win?
In a month, I think he could still be doing it. But again, all you're doing is just setting yourself up. I think if the gas tank is full all the way, and now you're a month into the season, you've been driving around, you're driving every single day, it's not still full. It's just not. Right? And you're not filling back up. There is no fill back up. The only fill back up is if you're out for a week, or if you're out for
which they can't afford,
or if you're out for a month, or whatever the case is. So, but if I play out your scenario that you're saying, if this stays as is, and listen, Vanderbilt's going to eventually come back. We'll see how much of an impact. Gabe Vincent's going to eventually come back. We'll see how much of an impact. But if it stays like this, aren't you left with no choice but to go make a trade at the trade deadline, to go try to get some help on a night-in, night-out basis? Because if the way the Lakers are 1 month into the season at 8-6 and how they had to grind to just get to 8-6, how are you taking that into a playoff series, a deep playoff run?
I don't think you can.
And that's not even counting getting through the regular season. I think that's the thing we keep talking about. You're just trying to get to the postseason. Because at least when you get to the postseason, less travel, you get opportunities to rest more, everything else. But Our issue is more had to do with how do you get to that point. So to just answer your question, if it stays like this, I think you have to go make a move. And I'm not the one that wants to go make a move. I like the depth. But I think ultimately what it's going to come down to, are these guys there enough to help out and take the load off?
So I like the depth too, as long as the depth is providing depth. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to have depth and say, oh, we got these guys. We go down to the 10th, 11th guy on the roster. Okay, cool. Are they winning games? No. Then you don't have any depth. You have guys that can play, but they're not performing at the level that you need them to. It's funny because let's just say what you saw last night and what you saw in Portland and what we've seen for the vast majority of the 8 games that they've won. If you're winning games by narrow margins and LeBron's awesome and AD's really, really good and it's in the playoffs, you're like, this is what we set this up for. Get LeBron 38 minutes, 40 minutes, 42 minutes, 44. Go, go, go. This is what we've been playing the last 5 months to get to this point to say go, go, go. It's November.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's if this were the result and say, listen, hey, Reeves is kind of all over the place. You never know what Dan, like we'll figure it out. But LeBron's amazing, AD's amazing. You'd be like, hey, I like my chances. If those two guys keep doing that, I like my chances there. But that can't be the program now. The program that can't be the program in November. There has to be an alternate program that depth that we're talking about. It's because it's not just depth to be in the. You got to play well. Mm-hmm. That's depth. Right now they have bodies. They have guys that show up, and one night one guy's okay, another guy's not, and you're kind of not quite sure what you're going to get. That depth needs to be usable depth, winning depth, to take some of this stuff off these guys' plates.
I think there was also layers to the depth. I thought there was, you got LeBron and Anthony Davis, and then you said, okay, you got role players. They're not all bunched together. Cam Reddish does not have the same expectations as Austin Reeves.
Correct.
Taurean Prince does not have the same expectations of D'Angelo Russell.
Correct.
So that there's also layers to your role players. The way it was supposed to be is D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura are the 3 guys that got paid in the offseason. Fellas, they need 2 or 3. They need 2 out of those 3 on a night-in, night-out basis to kind of just keep that engine going. Those players, let me use D'Angelo as a good example. And people are going to say, oh, you're always hating on D'Lo. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let me use D'Angelo Russell.
Hating on D'Lo?
It's a good example. D'Angelo Russell.
You should.
Last night, D'Angelo Russell last night is a good example. They didn't even play him. He played 24 minutes. He had no impact on the game. But there's going to be nights where D'Lo has the stats.
Yeah.
But then I'll ask the question of, when did those stats happen? Are they coming at the end of the game? Is D'Angelo Russell one of those players that Darvin Ham looks at and says, fellas, when push comes to shove, I got to have D'Lo in at the end of the games? The answer is no.
Of course not.
Because go watch all these different Laker games, whether last year or this year, there's a lot of times D'Lo's not in at the end of the game, which says a lot. The reason why I use him as an example is because we can't just broadly stroke all these guys are role players. They're not all created equal.
No, they're not.
D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura were the ones that got paid this offseason to be the players that you can depend on more. If Taurean Prince has a bad night, I gotta be honest, I'm not expecting that much from Taurean. If Cam Reddish struggles from the field, I'm not expecting that much from Cam Reddish. But those 3 players, you need them. At least two of those 3 need to show up more.
I think that's kind of where I am, because D'Angelo Russell, your frustrations, this kind of comes back to what we're talking about with Anthony Davis, but on a much different level. Anthony Davis is a much better player than D'Angelo
I know
Russell.
what you mean. Yeah.
But it's just one of those, hey, listen, he's been in the league a long time now. This is who he is, right? He's not, there's like the MVP tier. There's what? 8 of those, maybe, probably less. There's the consistent all-star tier, which is probably another 10 or 12 or 15 guys. Then there are guys that can have a night. And I think he's in that group. But he's also a guy that can drop into the next group, which is just he's on a team and something's got to happen. I don't really hold his inconsistencies against him because I've just come to expect them. Same thing with Rui, right? That Rui is a guy and over the course of his career, has been kind of an inconsistent performer. There are highs, there are lows, and that's just what it is.
His biggest performance was this last
postseason.
playoff run.
No question
and that's
about
what
it.
he got paid for, not for what he's done
But
through.
that's not his fault, and that shouldn't necessarily change the expectation. Like, what do you do? Just because you were good for a month or a month and a half doesn't mean that that's who you are now. It means you were good for a month and a half. You got paid on the month and a half, good for you. The Reeves one is the one that I'm having the most trouble figuring out because this did not feel like hey, he had a good month. This felt like he's a really good player.
An important player.
An important player. And so far, he's been more of the other thing where it's just been inconsistent. There are moments where looks like himself, but there have been moments like, that's not the guy that we thought we were going to get. And I think it kind of turns on him to a great degree because if he were the guy that you got last year, by the time he got put into the starting lineup, by the time he got into the postseason, he was like, if that guy were the guy you got every night, it's a different team. It just softens the load on LeBron by this much. It softens the load on AD by this much. You can put him in certain situations and feel really comfortable, good that you're going to get the baseline performance, and you really haven't with him this year. There's been some good, but there's been some not so good either. He's the one that I'm still trying to figure out which of those groups do you go in. Are you the guy that I just don't really know? If you give me a good one, cool, I'll take it. But you might give me a clunker a couple of nights later. That's kind of D'Lo.
And he's not supposed to be, right? The Reeves one is not supposed to be. Can I go back to something you said about Rui that I almost feel like you were saying it's not his fault that he got the 3 years 51. But when you get the 3 years 51, naturally it does change the expectations. I know what
it changes the expectations, Al. I agree with you, but
because he's getting paid.
Yeah, but it doesn't change who he is as a player. He's the same player. Like from the fans, coaching, owners, like, hey, I'm paying you this. I need you to come up to this level. But Rui the player is still Rui the player.
Can I give you an example? It's not the best, but do you know how many times with Russell Westbrook when he was with the Lakers, it's this guy is making this much money, even though he's not that player anymore, even though he was on a team where those stats are not going to be the same for when he's playing with Oklahoma by himself, whatever the case is. But I feel like the money portion of it does come into play.
That feels lazy to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, and I hear it too, but it's like, okay, that's the money he makes, but that's not the player he is. Like this was he's making 45 million, whatever the number was 45, 48?
Something like that. Maybe 47.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, why doesn't he do this? Because that's not what he does. He's never done it. Just because he makes a lot of money doesn't mean he's like, well, I'll just do this. Because you kind of have to understand who they are and then decide, I'm going to pay you for what you are, and can I do it? Russ is an extreme example because he makes so much money.
Not anymore.
But this is, okay, if you're paying D'Angelo Russell, you can't expect him not to be D'Angelo Russell, and he has been. He hasn't been any better or worse than he's been for the better part. He's just kind of D'Angelo. There are some really cool moments, and there's some like, what the heck's he doing out there?
Or they come in when it doesn't matter. Empty calories. Do you know what Russ's contract is right now?
It's like $7 million, something like that.
2 years, $7.8 million.
That's what it is.
So he's $3.9 a year.
It's a bargain. And look,
I get that.
His performances are actually pretty consistent. He kind of gives you the same thing over and over because he's just a maniac. And I mean that as a compliment. He's just going out there going a billion miles an hour. Hot or cold coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Hey, if you get hurt in an accident, call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. You know the number by now. Say it with me. 1-800-900-0000. That's the number you call when you're looking for expertise. Decades of experience at Sweet James. That's the number you call when you're looking for somebody that understands the insurance companies. That's Sweet James. Used to work for the insurance companies. You call Sweet James when you want somebody that has a winning record. They win 98% of the time when they go to trial. They have over 500 trials under their belt. This is what I'm talking about. These are the cases that can change your life. If you're hurt in an accident, car accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, dog bite, call Sweet James. Get the justice that you deserve, not the settlement that the insurance company is offering. Make sure that you get the best on your side. Make sure that you call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
You never have to miss.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BB Go.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the 5th row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
Next Gen, the official AC, heat, and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans.
Cold as ice.
Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. Time for our feature we do 3 days a week at 12:30 p.m. Who's hot? Who's cold? Thanks to Next Gen. Time for Who's Hot? Lincoln Riley and Chip Kelly on the hot seat. Sitting in for producer M. Take it away, Corporate Greg.
So, Slee, Chip Kelly did not get off the hot seat just because he beat SC, right? Let's start right there. The Chip Kelly has been at UCLA for a minute now. He's almost exactly 500 in his career. I believe he's one game over 500 in the time that he's been here. I think it's 34 and 33 or 33 and 32, something like that. Winning one game against your crosstown rival doesn't save him, right? This is a bad football program that has not looked good since he's gotten there.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Because I guess the question on Chip Kelly is, let's say you get rid of Chip Kelly. What are you getting after that?
Right, that's the right question, by the way.
And I think the overall record is not fair, and I'll tell you why it's not fair. He started out, he's had 6 seasons, 2, 4, 6 or 7 seasons. Started out 3-9 his first year, 4-8 his second year, 3-4 his third year. Since 2021, 8-4, 9-4, 7-4. So, yes, we could lump all these seasons together and say this is what he's been, but I think the more appropriate one is to say, well, he got off to a really bad start. In his last 3 seasons, he's winning you 8 or 9 games. I'm not telling you that Chip Kelly is the solution. I'm not telling you he's the greatest coach in college football. But my question is, if it's not Chip Kelly, what do you got coming next?
That's the right question because it's a UCLA question. It's not even a Chip Kelly question. Do you want to continue to pretend you care about this? Then, maybe you go find someone else. Because when they hired Kelly, it was a good hire.
It was a good hire.
It was an exciting hire. It was somebody that felt like, okay, they got the right guy. It hasn't worked out. Like, to your point, he won 7 games, 8 games, 9. That's pretty mediocre in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
They're finishing in the middle of the pack. Until this year, a bad Pac-12. This year, it's a little different. It's much better. But really hasn't made any noticeable splashes. What's the high water mark of this team? Was it Saturday? Maybe, right? There just hasn't been something that's super exciting right there. Or do you just kind of lean into the fact that you don't care about football, which they don't. They're just not about that. We were talking about it earlier. Like, you look at what it's like in the Big Ten and the SEC. You look at the way that Oregon invests in it.
Everything.
You look at the way that Washington invests in it. UCLA's just not that invested in it. They're invested in basketball like that. So do you just kind of keep it rolling and say, look, we're going to be better than mediocre, but not very good?
I think whatever they end up doing, there's not enough noise that there's this unbelievable pressure on UCLA. With USC football, there's pressure. There's real pressure. You feel it. We talk about it. They're writing about it. I think with UCLA, I'll just give you this morning as an example. Were we starting our show saying, man, they got to really figure out this Chip Kelly situation?
Of course not.
They weren't. So I think they're whatever they end up doing, I don't think it's going to make that much noise unless, like you said, hey, we're in it to win it, and we're going to go spend every resource that we have to go make it happen.
We're going to throw NIL at
whatever it is, whatever it takes.
And I think we know the answer to that. What about Riley? They're 7-7 in their last 14 games. They just finished a 7-5 season. They're going to go to some goofy middle of December bowl game.
Cheez-It Bowl.
Cheez-It Bowl. It's going to be one of those really, ones that you probably don't even watch. Mm-hmm. They're going to the Big Ten. I don't think that anybody's having the conversation yet, but I think that for the first time, it's like, hey, what exactly do we have here? Because Caleb Williams just came and went, and we don't have a whole hell of a lot to show for it other than one very cool individual achievement.
So they were talking about this on the broadcast during the game, and I don't disagree. You tell me what you think. Who's better positioned coming into the Big Ten? Who's better positioned, USC or Oregon?
Oh, Oregon by a mile.
USC or Washington?
Washington.
USC or UCLA?
About the same.
About the same. I agree with you. That, you know what? You can kind of lean both ways. So that means you're leaving a conference. You're going to the Big Ten. You got all these big boys. You got an area of the country where college football is very, very important to them. And out of the 4 schools that are going to the Pac-12, if you had to rank who's in the best position or leaving the Pac-12 and going, you're 3rd or 4th. Not a good spot to be in. Now, I don't think Lincoln Riley's going anywhere. I think Lincoln Riley is going to be around. And, what he does from this point and how he turns around that program this year, the icing on the cake was not just losing to UCLA. And forget the opponent. They got pushed around like they were children.
Again, and they're slow. Mm-hmm. Hey, but just think about how bad it was before he got here.
100%.
And now time for Who's Cold.
I feel better now.
Sean McVay's decision to throw the ball on 2nd down in the 4th quarter.
That was like, hey, Pete Carroll, remember that time you threw it and didn't hand it to Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl and you lost it? Watch this. Yeah. Hold my beer. That's what that felt like.
He's lucky it's November 19th and it's not a playoff game.
And a 3-6 team, right? Yeah. A 3-6 team going up against a team that, at least at this point, feels like they're headed the wrong direction as well. Sean McVay is a really good coach. I am still firmly in the camp of a Sean McVay fan. I think that they got the right guy. I think that their future is bright. That was just inexcusably dumb.
What is I'm trying to think, because every coach has a moment where, something, you make a decision and all of a sudden you're saying to yourself, you're like, what the hell, what was that coach thinking? I still didn't even understand what the purpose was. Okay, maybe you're just trying to get 6 and let's just try to get to the end zone. You gave the Seahawks a chance to win that game by not handing the ball off, and then you're just lucky that Seattle couldn't make it happen.
It's this will work, right? And I get it. Confidence and borderline arrogance, I think is very, very useful if you're an athlete, and certainly if you're like, this is going to work, we're going to score a touchdown, then it doesn't even matter. They got to go score a touchdown. I get it, but you also have to have that thing in the back of your brain that says, don't be stupid here. I get that a touchdown puts this thing away, but a field goal with no time left on the clock
Yeah.
also wins the game for us. What is the downside to these two things? What's the downside to running the ball, put it in the middle of the field, let Haversick kick it, and the clock, they can't stop it. Another 35 seconds. They just missed blowing that game. And it would have been because of that decision.
Might have been
very, very lucky. Very, very lucky.
I think that might have been better strategy.
Jason Myers.
For the Rams.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
You think, no doubt. Who's hot, who's cold? Next Gen, the official AC Heat and Plumbing Company of SoCal sports fans. Call 833-3-NEXGEN, 833-3-NEXTGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. It's funny. I can't wait to see how this whole thing shakes out when they do go to the Big Ten. Because I get it. It's going to be good for the bottom line.
Yep.
It's going to be good for the basketball team and the football team. It's going to be good to be on a platform, the Big Ten, that is much more prestigious and accessible to people outside of the West Coast.
Sure.
I get all of
that exposure, yeah.
What if you become Indiana? You're just kind of in the middle of the pack. What if you become Minnesota? You're just kind of, you don't stink. You're not great.
Nebraska,
you're just
Wisconsin, whatever.
Nebraska's they're a little better. Yeah, but even Wisconsin is like, okay, Wisconsin keeps going to the Rose Bowl pretty regularly. They care. They care. They're invested in it. What if you just show up and all of a sudden you're Maryland? You're just kind of in it, and you're not embarrassing yourself or anything, but you're not Michigan. You're not Oregon, Washington, Ohio State, Penn State. Like, I get it. You got a 20-team league now or whatever it is. It's enormous. But there are a bunch of teams in there that care about this as much or more than you do.
You expect that from UCLA, that you're not going to have expectations for that program when they get in. And listen, part of the reason why, too, is you're going to have a 12-team playoff now, so that's going to open up more doors and opportunities. But SC, like we just said, it's Oregon and Washington that are walking into the Big Ten with the most clout as far as what they look like today from that football program. They got a long way to go, brother.
Let me flip
they have a long, long way to go.
You're right. There is a 12-team playoff coming, and there will be more seats at the table than there have been under the 14, obviously. But into the most optimistic circumstances, how many teams out of the Big Ten do you expect to get at a seat at the table? The most, 3? Right? And that seems like it's probably 2. Three
if you take
occasionally.
Let's just say 3 coming from the Big Ten.
Okay.
3 or 4 coming from the SEC.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 7.
There's 6, 7.
The Big 12 is going to get one. The ACC is going to get one.
Yep.
That's 9. You're going to have Notre Dame. They're going to try to get in there every single year.
You could basically say 10 spots are already taken.
Yes.
Based on conferences.
Okay.
And then 1 or 2 that's going to an outsider.
So if, let's say, 3 teams from the Big Ten go, you one of the 3 best teams? You weren't one of the 3 best teams in the Pac-12.
No, they're not even. That's what I'm saying.
You're not one of the 6 best teams.
They got such a long way to go to be a part of that real conversation. They have such a – listen, this year, I'm going to go back to Saturday. UCLA made them look like they don't belong in the same class with UCLA. UCLA put up 38 on USC. What did you say the total was in the last 3 games? 45. 38, no problem. 38, no problem. And just a late score at the end. You're nowhere close. You're going to have Oregon, Washington, Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State are going to be 5 that are already in that Big Ten that you're chasing and that feel like are way ahead of you.
There are other teams in there that are kind of that middle group too, right? Whether it's like this year, Nebraska's a little bit better. Iowa is in the top 25. Not that these are powerhouses, but they're better than what you have right now.
Imagine how tough it is to go win over there.
No doubt. Okay. I have a LeBron James Cooper Cup theory that I want to lay on you. That's coming up next in the dump. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Next Gen is the official AC Heat and Plumbing Company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. Next Gen, they are the absolute best in the business, and they've got thousands of 5-star reviews online to prove it, including mine. Had the guys out. They gave me the full 28-point heat and AC safety inspection and tune-up, just $44 through November 30th. So that is before. You have never seen these prices before. $44 to ensure that your system stays running strong all year long. And if you're dealing with a slow drain, how about a drain cleaning with camera inspection, also for just $44? Here's how you do it. You call 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3 833-NEXGEN, and you can say goodbye to your AC, heating, or plumbing problems. NextGen includes water, plumbing, heater, and AC safety inspections. Prioritize the safety of your loved ones at home. That's 833-NEXGEN, or visit nextgenaaronplumbing.com to schedule online.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the fifth row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
It's time for the dump.
So I'm sure that we'll spend a little more time on this tomorrow, Al, but before you head off for your Thanksgiving holiday, I want to make sure that you get a chance to hear Brandon Staley, because there's a moment that happens.
Everything's under control.
Right, where the coach knows it's over, and they start to chirp and they start to fire back, because why the hell not? I can't pretend to be calm anymore when there's no reason to be calm, and I think Brandon Staley hit that point last night.
So you can stop asking that question, okay? I'm going to be calling the defenses, okay? So we're clear. Okay. So you don't have to ask that again.
Oh, they'll still ask. They're going to still ask, because you keep losing because your defense can't shut down a guy like Jordan Love. Jordan Love had the best day of his life against your defense. That's after the Detroit Lions had one of the best days in the history of that organization. It's been around for, 100 years against your defense. After Miami had one of their best days ever against your defense. After the defense that you showed up with that was ranked 17th, that's now gone 27, 27, 28 in the 3 years that you've had. People will probably still ask the question.
You know what they're saying right now in sports talk radio in Green Bay? Literally like, hey, I think we found our guy. I know he got off to a slow start. I think we found our guy. What they need is somebody else to say, you took on the Chargers. And listen, to be completely honest with you, I thought the Chargers would handle business yesterday. You thought they would just kind of continue to hover around. They're in the bottom of the AFC West. The Denver Broncos have a better record than the Chargers. The Raiders have a better record than the Chargers. You cannot tell me go look at those two teams. Look at the talent that's on those teams.
Can I throw this out there? Mm-hmm. They have the best talent in the entire division. I know that Patrick Mahomes is the best player.
Yep.
And Travis Kelce is maybe in the top 5, but the Chiefs, their talent from first roster spot down to 52, I don't think they have better players than the Chargers do.
They got talent everywhere. They got talent literally everywhere. And Staley, like you said, listen, he's had. If I'd have told you, and I think this is the part that's the most confusing about the Chargers, You just wasted a year. I mean, it's not even just the Chargers. We could say the same thing with Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch, right? It's the same thing. You just literally just wasted a year of Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, all these guys, all because you knew nothing was going to change, but you just don't want to add a little bit more to your bottom line. I understand that everything is a business, but you do not have an owner that's willing to do whatever it takes to win. You just don't.
Reading some of the players' quotes after that game, it was a lot of, yeah, man, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what. Something's got to change. Just a lot of that. You could feel just the frustration of you got two different – you got an offense, and the offense wasn't great yesterday. They only scored 20 points, but Justin Herbert was really, really good. And
bad penalties,
bad drops.
Coaching.
There's just bad – it's just at some point – because Brandon Staley is clearly not a great leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
A leader does not do what you saw. Which you can do what he said, but if Mike Tomlin does it, it's a very different thing than if Brandon Staley does it. If Andy Reid had done something like that, it's a little different. You've already proven that you're wildly erratic from the moment you got here, and now you're being more erratic when it gets more difficult. It's a wrap.
They got the same record as the Jets. And the Jets, you know their scenario, you know their predicament.
Yeah.
They're in a completely different – they have the same record as the Jets.
Does he get to the end of the line? Does he coach all 17 games this season?
I say he does, and I'm going to go back to what I said before. And I know they can do things where it's not like they're going to bring in a new coach and that you just throw an interim in there. But I wouldn't be surprised they played out, especially if there's not really that much to play out. I guess maybe
there's
under that
a path.
Scenario.
But look, why not do it, get rid of him, and see if Kellen Moore's ready for it.
And see if anything happens?
Why not?
Yeah,
because they have 7 games left. It's not like it's, there's 2 games left and it's hard to – you got 7 games. Let's say that those 7 games look a lot better than the first 10 that you've just played. Did you find your guy? Because he's on the list, right? When you're just looking about the guys that you know are going to get head coaching – Kellen Moore is going to get one of these jobs. Why not start to check it out?
I
because they're the Chargers?
Do. Yeah,
is that the answer?
Well, I don't even know if that's a substitution there. I just don't know what the thought process is because nobody thought that was the right coach moving forward, and he's proved in many of these games this year with all the talent that they have that they still can't win. So I don't know what their direction is. Genuinely, I have no idea what their direction is. We were talking about last week Belichick. What if Belichick became available? Would he pony up for that? Maybe he would. Maybe I have no idea. Maybe it's the perfect marriage,
The quarterback's interesting. I just don't know if they want to even pay 7 games of a double rate, right? And he's got, 1 or 2 years left after this? It's a lot of time for a team that does not want to spend a lot of money. Yeah. You ready for my LeBron and Cooper Kupp theory?
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp is still the guy that Matthew Stafford looks to first, much like when the Lakers need something, they look to LeBron, right? That when Cooper Kupp finally came off the field yesterday, he hurt his ankle on the last drive of the first half, the offense started to move a little bit. Now I have to throw it to Puka. It was
less predictable.
I got to throw it to Trammell.
Okay.
I have to do these things. The second half, they played entirely without Cooper Kupp, and it wasn't perfect. They still only scored 17 points, but the ball got spread around a lot more. It reminded me as watching it, like when LeBron is out there, he can cover so many different things that you wait for LeBron to bail you out. I think they wait for Cooper Kupp to bail him out so often because he's done it so many times before that when you finally did not have him, it seemed to kind of unlock the rest of that offense to a point. Am I crazy?
I get the concept of it. I think a lot of times, especially Stafford, he's so his knee-jerk reaction is, where's Kupp? Right? Where's Kupp? And I'm going to – when you take that away, it's almost like that game, if you're going to use as an example. John, when Lakers played Portland and LeBron wasn't there,
right?
There's no safety valve. There is no emergency brake.
You got to figure it out. He's not coming to save you.
All right. I want to make sure I'm understanding, Trav, what your point is.
Mm-hmm.
If your point is that the Rams are better because they spread the ball around without Cooper Kupp, I could not disagree with you more.
Not that. It forces them to use all of the weapons at their disposal.
Where then a defense also has no idea where the ball is going to.
When Cooper Kupp was in the game, Puka Nacua had 0, never mind catches, 0 targets. They didn't even throw him the ball.
Right.
But when he got hurt and he was off, well, bam, touchdown right before the end of the first half. Next half, he's got 6 catches. He's got 70-some-odd yards. He's a big part of what you're doing. Tyler Higbee gets involved in the offense to a smaller degree. But it just kind of – they're better with Kupp. If they're going to win games, you have to have Kupp.
Yeah.
But just figure out how to implement everything else you have when Cup is there.
Yeah, we'll ask McVay about that this week, but Mason's asked him about that before, like, are you too Cooper Kupp reliant? And McVay basically called Mason an idiot. Well, just saying, if you had Cooper Kupp, wouldn't you throw him the ball every chance you get? And Mason's like, yeah, well,
okay,
he gets 80% of the targets. And
wouldn't you want to throw Puka Nacua the ball as well?
Maybe, but I mean, they went to the Super Bowl and won it with going Kupp heavy. So
yes, and I'm a Cup, but I'm
doesn't look
you,
like the same
he does
guy
not
either.
look like that same guy.
Well, he
anymore.
probably beat up.
He's beat up.
I
He
agree.
dropped a touchdown pass yesterday. There's just this. He dropped 2 passes 2 games ago. It's just he just doesn't look like the same player that he looked like a couple of years ago. You know what we should do, Jorge? Little Supercross talk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, so Slee survived the Eliminator pool.
Oh, really? Who'd you take?
So I had the Lions.
Oh, boy, you guys, they put a little scare in you.
Not for him, he didn't. He wasn't watching.
Well, apparently Mason's partner, Juan, also had the Lions.
Yes,
they
both.
barely survived it. How many people are left?
So after
anybody go out?
one person's out. So there's going to be 8 left.
Okay.
Starting tomorrow.
I think before
when we
they
make our
start
picks.
talking about splitting the pot, it's got to get down to 4, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it was last year.
It almost took out 5. There was 5 that had the Lions.
Is there another one next week that you like? Have you looked yet?
No, I have not looked yet.
So yesterday I'm doing Rams pregame.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at all the scores coming in. I knew Slee was on the Lions in the pool, and I'm looking at this. Jared Goff throws 3 interceptions. You're like, oh, my gosh, he's going to lose because Goff has a flashback.
Goff
to his
went
Rams.
Goff,
went Goff. They scored 16 points in like the last 6.5 minutes of the game to steal it. And I said to Slee, I'm like, you must have been hanging on the edge of your seat. He goes, well, what happened? Like
he didn't even watch.
This is how you do it. This is how you win the Eliminator pool, by never even having any skin in the game.
I make my pick on
Well,
Tuesday.
I can't imagine. Did Juan go to the game with you, Mace?
Yes.
Was he monitoring the Lions game, or did he just find out after the
We
fact?
were monitoring very closely on
there you
the
go.
Oculus, on the
scoreboard there.
digital. What do they call that? The infinity
the
board.
infinity board, I
You
believe.
can actually see the scores as they came down, and Jared Goff somehow pulled that out. So Juan is alive, and Sliwa is alive. And I think there's only, Slee, did you look, 5 people left?
So 8.
8 people
So
left.
starting tomorrow, one person had the Commanders, and everybody else had either Detroit
Boy, the
or
Commanders look like
The
a safe
Commanders,
pick.
Jacksonville.
My God.
Again, anybody against Tommy DeVito and the Giants felt like a safe pick.
Tommy shredded him.
I'm thinking this week. You know, I still haven't used the Titans. We know how good they are. They're taking on the Carolina Panthers. I don't have many good picks left. By the way.
Titans over the Panthers. Where is that game?
In Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't hate that
That's
pick.
not bad.
The Titans have
This late in a
that's
survivor
not been
pool?
great, though.
There are
Well,
no
but
really
the,
good,
But the
easy
Panthers
picks.
have been
Okay,
really
Jags.
bad.
Jags. I still have Jags left.
Okay, who are
That's
they
a good
playing?
play.
Houston in Houston.
No
You don't
No
want
way,
that.
I'm not
no,
going
no.
anywhere near
You'll get
Houston.
CJ Strouded.
No,
What-
not
he-
touching that.
I'd almost go Houston. They're
You
so
said you
good.
hadn't taken the Eagles yet, right?
And Eagles, I still have
They're
available.
at
as well.
home against the Bills.
God, that's a tough game.
The Bills have not looked
They
good
haven't.
all year long.
They haven't, but they're still the Bills.
They got Josh Allen.
And they got Josh Allen.
Slee, have you taken the Rams?
That's what I asked. Too.
I have not taken the Rams.
I think the Rams are going to win at Arizona.
That's a
That's a tough
ballsy
one, too.
call to go.
I'm with you.
Well, so far, of all the ones you've said, Tennessee would be the
How
safest
sad is that?
bet.
That's
Would
the
you
one.
have
Yeah.
even proposed the Rams had Geno Smith not come off the field yesterday? Because
Probably not.
Yeah,
No, I
because
wouldn't
that
either, yeah.
Drew Lock. You better say
Drew Lock
Here,
was
you take it.
incompetent.
He was
Awful.
yeah.
He was incompetent.
Awful.
And I thought it was cool that Geno came back at the end and tried. Gave it a shot.
Got him at 55
Got
yards.
him
Apparently,
close.
that was not Drew Lock's biggest loss in life. Now, I've
Go
yet
on.
to confirm this.
Oh, okay.
Go on.
Okay. But I've been told that Drew Lock's college girlfriend was Gracie Hunt, the billionaire heiress
Oh,
of
wow.
the Chiefs.
Of the Chiefs?
Who looks like a supermodel. And they are no longer dating. But if you lose that,
Yeah,
any
how do you
football
recover?
game you lose
Sure,
after that,
sure.
I mean,
Yeah, he probably should have done.
Hey, probably should have hung on to that one,
Maybe
Trav.
she likes starters and not backups in Seattle. Maybe she had
all makes sense now.
higher standards.
But overall, Trav, I would say most fun of the year at SoFi Stadium. It was a really fun, entertaining game.
It was a fun game. It wasn't a good game, if that makes it wasn't particularly well played.
No, it wasn't.
But it was a fun ending.
Again, the Rams did to Seattle what they did the last time. They shut them down in the second half. Seattle only scored a field goal in the second half of that game.
The Rams defense was terrific.
Yeah.
The Rams defense was terrific in the second half, but I think if Geno Smith stays in the game, even if it comes back one series sooner, they're really one first down away from almost putting that thing away.
Three words. In the hunt. In the hunt.
They are in the hunt.
Spot.
Yeah,
they are right there in the NFC.
And by the way, no one in the NFC is, other than maybe the Lions, Eagles, and Cowboys, is like a world beater.
Right.
So the Rams absolutely could
The
back
teams
in. Niners too.
They're chasing
Vikings.
The Vikings, the Packers.
Yep.
And the Seahawks. Those are the three teams ahead of them.
And the Seahawks have the tiebreaker over the Packers. Have the tiebreaker over them. They didn't play the Lions this year.
What's
did
the
they?
Seahawks?
No, they do
Trav,
not.
what's the Seahawks' next 4 games? I think you said
The Seahawks' next 4 games are 2 against San Francisco, Dallas, and Philly.
Yeah, that's tough.
So that's a 1-3 stretch or an 0-4 stretch more than likely.
Yes,
so
it is.
And Green Bay kind of stinks.
Denver beat Minnesota last night. Needed that.
Minnesota has been. They're better, but Dobbs, that thing has to strike midnight at some point. That's not a long-term solution.
Is he the spaceman? Is that what they call him?
He's like
they call him the pastronaut.
The pastronaut. That's right. He used to work for NASA.
He's a bright guy.
Yes, he is.
Mace, can I give you some credit?
Yes,
which
please.
I'm sure you're going to say please.
Well,
I would
please,
love
wait a
some
minute.
credit.
Stop everything.
Yeah, stop everything.
Please, going to give me some credit.
Pull over in your cars right now.
All right. What's the praise?
You were right on Friday. When I said SC and UCLA means absolutely nothing.
Yes.
That the game is literally a waste of time.
Yes.
You were right about
100% right.
You said no. There is something at stake.
Right, but I eventually gave in to you guys. It was a meaningless game.
No.
Bergman argued meaningless game.
The only way I thought something can come out of this game, which I didn't think was going to happen, SC got dominated.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely dominated. So the one scenario that maybe could potentially play out.
Yeah.
That the only way, look, if SC beats UCLA, not that big of a deal. If
No,
it's a
it would
close
have.
game.
Let me just say, it would have. It is important to beat UCLA.
It is.
I don't understand
agree.
why they showed up and laid an egg. They were awful.
I do.
There was
They
no passion. There was
got
no emotion.
demolished.
There was no fight. What the hell
Okay.
is going on over there?
Stop right there. No passion, no emotion, no fight, rivalry game, crosstown rival, all these things.
Yep.
And if you show up like that, whose fault is that?
Your coach.
Riley.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They didn't play for him, that's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. And nothing looked good in that game. Nothing. At the end of a terrible season, you delivered arguably your worst performance.
Absolutely.
And
That's
got
on the coach.
manhandled.
Yeah, that's on the coach.
That's 100% on the coach.
You know who it's not? It's not on Caleb Williams, who actually threw
How would
for
you know?
more,
He didn't say anything
threw
afterwards.
for more yards this year than he did last year. Actually had a very good year. Got boat raced in every single game, but he kept them in those games.
So Riley, at the end of the day, did a thing that I was not expecting after the way that the first year went. He did but do you guys not know how bad Chip Helton was, or Clay Helton was?
Helton.
That this was don't forget how bad it was before I got here, quote.
He
and it's
stuck,
like, wait,
he snuck
what?
that in there in part
So
of his
I
postgame.
missed this.
We have it here.
Thing.
Want to take a
So
listen to it?
that's the wrong one. So what he said was, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to read it exactly. But
Cool.
what he said was, hey, look, this is an uphill climb. It's not smooth. It's up and down. It's jagged. The hard path is never the easy path. And you want to make, blah, 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 all these other things. But at the very end, he threw in don't forget how it was before I got here. Which why are we doing that now? Because you got off to this great start.
Quotes.
You got off to a season last year
6-0.
that I'll never time. Well, go back to
Dame.
last year. Last year, despite the Tulane loss in the bowl, that was a good year. You won a
It was
Heisman
a good
Trophy.
year.
You
got
played
to
in the
the
Pac-12 championship
absolutely.
game. Your quarterback gets dinged in the time.
The bowl
It's a good
game's
year.
stupid anyway.
Since then, it's been an absolute disaster.
Yep. 7 and
he's saying
5.
don't
7.
forget.
7-7. That's
Yeah,
right.
7-7 in his last 14 games.
Right.
At some point, it's on him. At some point, you can't just say the defense is bad, the coordinator's bad. They've been bad for a while now.
It is 100% on him. And yet, I still think that Lincoln Riley is the right guy for the job. I'll try to make that case today.
No, I'm okay with
I
that.
mean, honestly, it is a bad year. he's also, we forget, he's a 20 or 39-year-old guy.
Something like about 40, yeah.
Yeah, right
exactly
about
what it
40. He's coached for a few years now. I think he's going to get better. He obviously learned you got to cut ties with your friends if they're not performing. I always thought it was stupid. I always thought the defense would be worse after firing Alex Grinch.
Here's
And I
the
think
quote.
you'd make a case it is.
The road to the top is jagged. It's going to take different twists and turns, especially coming from where this was.
Yeah, that's his way of saying, like,
This
you're
was a
lucky
mess
to
before.
have me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's true.
I would not be shocked if Lincoln Riley tries to follow Caleb Williams to the NFL.
Oh, who wants him in the NFL? Who wants him in the NFL?
Because in the NFL,
he can't even coach in college.
As Sean McVay will tell you, coaches just turn the defense over to the defensive coordinator. You know, so if you've got a good defensive coordinator, Lincoln Riley's good on offense.
See, I've only seen him with one quarterbaback.
No, you've seen him with
No.
you've seen him with
Caleb
Kyler Murray.
and-
You've seen him with Baker
Kyler Murray,
Mayfield.
right.
You've seen him
Jalen
with
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. I mean, you've seen him with.
He's had 3 Heisman
But
Trophy winners
I
and
cannot
Jalen Hurts.
imagine that the Chicago Bears are going to look at him and say, "There's our next head coach." Look
Well,
at the way that team played for him in the last game of the year.
6 weeks ago, it wasn't a crazy conversation. It wasn't. That the conversation
His team rolled over.
No. This is it's as bad of a scenario as you could have thought of with USC. It really is, especially the icing on the cake against UCLA. But a month and a half ago, talking about Lincoln Riley in the NFL was not a crazy conversation. Obviously, that narrative has changed.
Yeah. John, did Chip Kelly save his job with that game?
I'm afraid the answer to that might be yes.
Yeah.
And I'm bummed out about it because he's now 34-33 as the head coach at UCLA. He doesn't recruit 5 stars. He doesn't help with NIL. He doesn't glad hand with the alumni. If this is what you want, an occasional big win, then go ahead and bring him back. And I fear they are going to bring him back.
It was Casey Wasserman who came out on Friday and said, "This is our guy."
And he has more, Casey has more power than anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jarman came out and said over the weekend, the reports were completely inaccurate.
30,000-foot question. I know UCLA cares about basketball and cares about it deeply.
Right.
I know that they want to win national championships in men's basketball.
Right.
Do they care about football in any way, shape, or form similarly about the football team? Or is it just, let's just be good enough?
It's easy to say the answer to that is, of course we do.
Doesn't
but
look like
judge
it.
them by their actions.
Right.
Okay? Judge them by their actions. They've got a coach that is 34-33 who doesn't glad hand with the alumni, doesn't help with NIL, doesn't recruit 5 stars, just kind of it is what it is. So if what you want every year is 8-4, go to a bowl game, win it occasionally.
That is great for UCLA. 8-4 with the bowl game is great.
I think that's what they say behind closed doors.
If they beat Cal, he'll be 25-12 over the last 3 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mace, the problem with a 34-33 record is his first 3 years, 3-9, 4-8, 3-4.
Right. Then he
Since
turned it.
then, he's got those 8, 9s, and probably going to get another 8
this
season
year,
and
if they
4.
beat Cal.
But that's the difference, I think, John. That's the question he's
Stylistically,
asking.
though, it's boring
but
football.
let's forget style.
It's good defense. Is
Trav,
what it
let's
is.
forget style. I think that's the question. If 8-4 is okay, that's a big difference than if USC goes 8-4.
That's true.
That one, it's okay, and one that it's not. I think that's the question that you're
Although
asking.
I think John's pointing out that with you, at least you, and I know Bergman, you guys are not Chip Kelly guys.
No. But I think that's what we've got. And I will say this, that after the game, I thought Chip was great. I thought that, he sought out Caleb Williams, walked up to him, told him, hey, man, you're the best quarterback we played all year. You're going to be great in the NFL. He teared up when he was talking about Latu, his defensive lineman, who is, probably going in the first round in the NFL draft.
Top 10 for sure.
And, I think his care factor is improving. But Chip's just not going to be that guy that walks into
It's just
your
not who
living
he
room.
is.
Well, he's not a rah-rah guy. He's not a gregarious guy.
He's kind of a peculiar guy. That's just who he is.
He's an odd dude. He's always been an odd dude.
He's kind of Bill Belichick without the Super Bowl rings.
Well, his resume, his resume was exemplary.
Really good. Yeah.
Since then, it's a lot of either bad or mid. There's not a lot of even halfway decent along the way. Very quickly, John, the guy that took the half-court shot last night.
Yeah.
Is he all right? Do we have any updates?
So after the game, I went to Ray, the host, the in-arena host, guy who hosted the Mandy's, who now is doing this for the Lakers. And I said, did that guy tear his Achilles? He goes, that's what we all thought. But he stayed for the game, and he started to walk a little better, so we think he just wrecked it. But we all thought, he's walking. That's not a sprained ankle. He's walking like a guy who just tore his Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I did ask the Lakers. I said, does the person who shoots that shot sign a waiver?
Oh, that's a good question.
And they said every single one.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
no way.
you cannot hold the Lakers or crypto
Accountable,
responsible if you do tear your Achilles.
So is that guy likely DNP leg tomorrow night?
So it's a good question.
Well, here's the weird thing.
DNP ego.
You get a half-court shot
Ego.
to win the MGM Grand Big Shot Jackpot.
Right. Yep.
And then if you miss that, you
Take
get
a
three
Yep.
to win a lesser prize. He was so bad he couldn't take the 3.
Couldn't even take the 3.
Yeah, I think he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks.
Reevaluate. Okay, good.
That's the number.
When I saw it and he went down, I thought it was like, oh, I missed, so I'll pretend that my back hurts or something like that.
No.
And then when Ray went over there, like, all right, you got to come out. You could tell the guy couldn't even move.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, oh, he's down for the count. Well, glad he's okay.
Yep.
And so nobody took the 3? Is this like
Correct.
a situation?
The 3 is like the backup prize. You shoot the big shot for the big prize.
Yeah, but
and then
like if you swing a bat and it's strike 2 and you can't, they put someone else in there. You get in there with an 0-2 count.
Yeah, I don't think you can pinch hit.
They
during
started
the big shot.
They started the fourth quarter.
Okay, yeah. They just we're done. Move on to the next one.
The timing of it has to go right too. Like you have like 1 minute to get that done, so you can't really get another guy and bring him out there. Wouldn't work.
Super Crosstalks brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger